And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 723, Spider-Man 2, and a terminally political gamer. I don't know what that subtitle is referring to. This is a video from Appabend. I haven't watched the video, so I don't know what it's going to be about. But we got Gigaman on specifically for this video, and Eric came out of nowhere. Hey, Eric, how's it going?
Hey.
All right. So this is from Appabend. It came out, when did it come out? Just 2 weeks ago. It has 6,000 views. No big deal. It is 12 minutes long. I don't know what to expect because I haven't watched Appabend in a while, aside from the one-on-one pronouns, which we all sort of thought, why did he make this video? It's not a bad video. He just explained himself, but there was really no reason to explain yourself on how grammar works.
I thought we skipped it because Appa didn't have time to join us.
I started watching the first 5 minutes. I'm like, this is unnecessary. It's one of those videos you don't need to watch. So
I haven't actually watched because I like to watch them for live for the first time on the Smudcast. So I can't comment on the content.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually like Appabend. His videos are pretty straightforward most of the time, the ones that I've seen at least. So he seems like an honest fellow. He calls it like as he sees it, and I like that approach to media as a whole. So it's when we get to the nitty gritty, this is where all the geeks, all the lore experts know otherwise. So that's why we have a panel like this. So 12 minutes long. You guys ready to go? We're all set. Talk about Spider-Man.
Before we start, Ken just wrote in the server that he'll be home in 15 minutes if there's room for him.
Do you want to add him? He could join manually if he likes.
They can. I just asked first. I just asked you first, just in case.
Oh yeah, no. This is a short video. We'll be totally fine to cover him. But I don't know what's in the content of the video to say how long this will take. But
take us 5 seconds.
I don't know. I really don't know. I have not watched or criticized Appabend in a while. So. All right, we could wait for Ken till 15 minutes. Yeah, no, we're good. Anyway, let's get going.
The latest Insomniac Spider-Man came out, and it came out to a wide critical acclaim. Lots of people love it. It is some of the finest Spider-Man video games ever made, and it is selling like crazy. It breaks the 24-hour sales record. Absolutely nuts if you ask me. Heck, to some people, it's probably gonna be their game of the year. Personally, I'd go for Baldur's Gate 3, but hey, Spider-Man 2 might be a potential winner. However, there are some things about the game that have been brought up that are definitely worth talking about, particularly the progressive elements in the game, because some of them are pretty dumb. We talk about the Spider-Man mods that mod Black Cat. That video with some real spicy adult discussions that are not advertiser friendly, or at least I thought it wasn't until YouTube said, actually it is advertiser friendly. Okay then, YouTube, thanks for remonetizing the video. But that was for the previous Spider-Man game that got ported on the PC. Let's talk about the newest one. So what are the progressive elements in Spider-Man 2? Thank you, the gamer, for showing us all of them, complete with the flags and all of that. The streets of Manhattan are filled with the pride flags that are pretty much...
What is that?
And so it begins.
That is an aneurysm.
It looks like you're on one of those hospitals in Toronto or something like that. They have all these flags. Oh,
what for?
We've got lots and lots of flags on certain blocks for whatever reason. Couldn't tell you.
So we can mark territory. That's what it is.
Oh god. And in the Arab versions, they cut it all out. So the mods to cut all the stuff out in the West is banned. Those mods are banned by pages like Nexus Mod. But for the official Arab version of the game, they do cut it all out.
Oh, officially, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, in the Middle East.
I would play the Arab version. Oh no, I know. So you switch your game to Arab and then load it with the English dub and sub files.
Oh,
provided they didn't change the language.
That sounds pretty jury-rigged to load up the files that way. But okay.
Yeah, but we have to make the remove the nonsense mod inverted. Then use another language version and then put the English over it, and then we have what we want.
Oh. I wonder if they have AI or any kind of algorithm to change the lip sync so that if you switch to, like, I don't know, Spanish or Japanese or something.
I think that's the least problem then. But I saw a clip of the NPC banter in this game. It is the most horrible English word. Drab?
Drek?
It is Dreck, yes.
Okay.
It's absolutely bad.
So it sounds like the writers of the game, or the real writer, but the people they hand off all the NPC work and all the text work and all the other non-cinematic scenes to like the subwriter, they just went crazy. They just filled it in with all kinds of junk. And no one checked it.
And mind the socialists, the radical left, they have always tried to advertise their propaganda by putting it next to iconic characters. Like Antifa in Germany has for decades put up stickers with Mario says or Sonic says and such things all over. That has been a thing for decades. And this is just the big version of that, where they have infiltrated the companies in order to put their message into the official product, their propaganda into the official product. That's what this is.
Yeah, I was expecting maybe there'd be like a free Palestine flag or free Ukraine flag or any of the war.
Somehow that's not in there.
Yeah. That would be a bit too on the nose, maybe, if they did
probably that. DLC.
The Ukraine DLC.
If this game gets DLC expansions like the first one did, yeah.
You got 100 disable Ukrainians, and then we'll put the flag there for you.
Yeah, there's all these people eating pierogies in the streets and kapusta soup and God knows what else. Okay. All right. I think we've sat on this picture for long enough.
Cat is bisexual now, so you're making a super hot character even hotter. Great.
Not necessarily, but okay. Was there a reason to make
more like just straight up no?
Why?
That's the weird part about it, isn't it? She says she's got to rejoin with girlfriend or whatever, but we don't know
in Paris.
We don't know if it's platonic or not.
Yeah, I don't recall Black Cat being interested in women ever. She was always the foil to Spider-Man's romance with Mary Jane.
They're rewriting all the women into being at least bisexual.
Oh, that's weird.
So that way,
especially when they weren't before.
Yeah, I mean, surely that appeals to some male demographic who likes bisexuality.
No,
in women.
it's to appeal. It's appeal to the Fujoshis. It's to appeal to the rainbow activists, especially when that leads to the girl interest turning down the male protagonist. Then they think they have ultimately won, because the evil white male patriarchal protagonist of the past half century has to end up alone.
The hero.
Then
of the
they
story.
think they won.
Okay.
Because this is the culture war. The culture war is the socialists against everyone else.
Oh.
It's not cultures against each other. It's the socialists against everyone else.
Combined with the fact that this isn't the first time that they've done this with Peter Parker specifically.
Oh, so he was bisexual.
No, leaving him alone.
Okay. All right. It
Peter
sounds...
clothes. Also, I mean, it could happen.
He got cocked in the comics.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, there has to be some reason to do this outside of, well, I'm going to Paris and I'll see you later. It has to be some either subplot, or you can't just throw that line out there. For
yes,
no
Matt, if it was well written, if it was about telling a story, but it's not about telling a story, it is about breaking a story. To force a narrative situation, not to actually have a narrative, but to just force a situation in which the things happen that you, the activist who wants to control the culture, gets what you want.
Right.
And you could say the fetish is have heroes like Peter Parker end up alone because he's a white man.
Yeah. So it just happens to be current year political stuff, which happens is to be sexual, which is gays, straight, lesbians, bi, you name it, and all the other stuff we can talk about, which is part of high school life now, apparently, in the world of Spider-Man 2. So,
Which is great.
This stuff's been around for decades. It's just that it's taken until now that these misers have gotten control of these franchises because they actively went into them. This is part of the Antonio Gramsci strategy of taking control of all non-socialist institutions so that they all become socialist, so that you can't escape them anymore. That's why all the propaganda is everywhere, in everything, in every media thing, in every escapist thing, entertainment thing, in every education institution, in every ministry and government, in every workplace, if possible, so that you can't escape from this thing anymore and will just, out of a demoralization, give up struggling against it and just let it happen.
Yeah. All right.
It's basically cultural rape.
Oh, that's a strong verb. Okay, let's keep going. Here is the thread knot. Thank you, sir, for the £5. I refuse to accept Miles Morales as Spider-Man. I like that. I have so little respect for that cosplayer. I refuse to say or spell his name right.
Amen, brother.
I think that was a good
I
pun.
applaud you.
That was a good run on the name there. Miles Morales. Yeah.
He has none. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Yeah, the thing he has none of, exactly.
Oh.
I'm surprised they let his father be a cop.
Okay.
Yeah, because I killed him off.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they killed him.
Jeez. There you go. Perfect character development.
But that's killing a black man.
Oh, no.
Who cares? He was a cop.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
So
They don't care.
he might as well be white.
Yeah.
Ouch. All right. Anyway, let's.
he was acting white.
Yeah.
Because he died.
He was working with a vigilante.
He did both the violence.
Does Miles therefore have generational trauma because his father was acting white?
As a cop.
Exactly.
Okay.
You could argue, yes.
Anyway, let's continue.
He was also present.
Yes.
Job.
Yeah.
How progressive.
You got an entire side quest dedicated on
Michael
helping
West.
Miles' classmates at the Brooklyn Visions Academy. One quest involves helping a guy asking his boyfriend out to...
Wait. A quest? What is going...
A side quest.
This is an
Side
acting
quest.
side quest.
So, this is when you're in high school or you're Spider-Man? What's going on?
Somebody
Spider-Man.
asked Spider-Man for help. I think this is a Miles-centered mission.
Well, he's right there on screen, right?
Go to you as the player. Go to the mission objective and talk to this guy. And he's like, "Well, I'm trying to, propose to my boyfriend for homecoming." And
I
so
find
you
it very
stop
very questionable that he just runs around in his hoodie with his backpack,
Alternate
speaks
costume.
with his voice, and all his schoolmates don't recognize him.
Yeah.
It's a,
Well, to be fair, the hoodie and the backpack is an alternate costume, but the point stands.
Okay.
it was
This
a deal.
is,
That carried over from the first game, for context.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like examples of this, like maybe the Persona series where you're in school and you're doing sub quests or whatever quests outside
But
of
this is meaningless in terms of I'm here to save people. Why am I wasting my time? It's like the world's in danger.
It's like
Certain-
Especially since this was also cut in the Middle East.
Yeah,
well,
let me help this gay couple out for a
yeah,
minute.
this is not part of the main story, right? This is just something you could do.
Oh
on the
yeah,
Just
all the
just
gay
side
side missions
content.
were also
Yeah.
cut.
side.
Yeah,
it's-
all of the gay pride shit, all of it was cut. All of it, every last little bit.
I'm trying to.
How much percentage of the game does that make?
It's a good question.
At least it's shorter.
Well, I'm trying to equate this kind of content to like something that's generic and annoying in RPGs, like fetch quests, like find my husband's ring that I lost, blah blah blah, in a cave, which is fine. There's nothing political about it, but it's just unnecessary and hopefully optional.
In this case, it is political.
Yeah.
Nobody would want to play this, even if it was like straight couple.
Yeah.
They could have done it.
It's not
where,
so
like-
much that they're gay; it's that we're helping kids in high school do stuff, which is silly. Like, oh, I'm Spider-Man, but let me go help you hook up with your lover or whatever. It's like, why don't you just ask him? Just do it yourself.
Exactly. If they want to push this bullshit, they could have done it in a much smarter way, which is
Yeah,
like,
like
they're
if Spider-Man or Miles was like, hey, dude, let me help you out with your relationship issues. Let me go talk to your friend. Let me just talk to the guy. Let me what is the quest involved? Do you have to jump around as a Spider-Man and do stuff?
Oh, the sign is not all the way down. Can you web it down? Okay. The sign's not turning on. Can you use your electrical powers to turn it on? Okay.
The electric web, yeah.
Oh dear.
No, he has electric powers. That's
Miles, yeah. Yeah, with Miles, yeah, sorry.
So
Is
only
it Electro?
I guess.
Wait, what?
So only Miles can solve the problem of I can't ask my boyfriend out to prom, so I have to make a giant sign, and I have electrical issues.
I think either of them can do it. It's just
No, but this is what I find funny. If this was 26-year-old Peter Parker helping gay teens hook up with each other.
Awkward.
All right, whatever. I mean, it's a side quest, so it's not a huge problem, but it just seems awkward, and
it's still part of the problem.
There are games with such annoying side quests due to their content, not necessarily due to the gameplay involved, that I skipped them as a kid. And that's not political stuff like this. It's just stuff that I just didn't want to do because the characters or the content was so appalling.
I would rather have those.
I wish I could
this.
tell you an example, but I repressed them all.
All right.
I would rather have those than this.
Well, luckily it's optional.
Yeah.
That's at least something.
Yeah, but if you want 100%
Homecoming.
that's shit, it's not. So
Okay.
One quest involves a puzzle from a rival school.
Let's see here. What does that say?
Who cares?
I think the biopic artist.
What is?
We BIPOC
we.
artists are birds of a feather to find the next clue. All band, all band together.
All band together because, but
There's an extra A. There's an extra A. All a band together.
Allah?
My head. My head.
And it's this disgusting corporate art style that is just repulsive and corporate. You communists are doing corporate art style. What is wrong with you people?
Isn't that illegal too?
Well, anyone who uses the term
What?
BIPOC already has a racist stint, has a view of this should be a thing. We should think this way.
It just means everyone who's not a evil white Caucasian Nordic monster.
Yeah, well,
It's a horrible term.
I
like
don't,
BAME.
I don't like these new words that define groups for some racial or categorization reason. There's no purpose behind this that helps society in any way. It just further divides people to put them into other groups, which I don't see the point is. If you're an artist, be an artist. Be judged by your art, not by where you came from. Anyway.
School who kidnapped the school mascot as a revenge prank. BIPOC artists. The Emily May Foundation has a diverse board with Dr. Young being non-binary, apparently.
Okay,
Even the
Jesus
non-gender
Christ.
neutral Spanish language
Whoa, hold on, wait a minute. Non-binary? Did I miss that part?
I don't know. Is this person supposed to be non-binary?
I think he made a little error there, maybe with the subtitle. Let me go back a second. No, a little more. Here. This says diverted my salary. Oh, okay. I only saw the first line because it's so it went so quick. Hey,
Yeah.
there is a diverse board. Okay.
All right.
Still part of the problem.
May Foundation has a diverse board with Dr. Young being non-binary, apparently. Even
Well, it looks the part the way that alleged self-claimed non-binary people dress themselves, which is just how feminists have dressed themselves for decades. By removing all their femininity and looking like
you just woke up and put on clothing.
old teenage boys or something. It's just sad. But she hasn't dyed her hair bright red, so not a full feminist, just a half feminist.
Maybe in Spider-Man. Maybe in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, it's DLC. Pay $15.99.
In the day.
the
Okay.
neutral Spanish language had to refer to her in a gender-neutral way.
How progressive.
How progressive indeed. Personally, I don't mind these stubs. I can still tolerate them just fine. But what I cannot tolerate is the awful jazz hands. Sorry, I cannot take that
That's
seriously.
that's
And he
your
did that
issue, you
after
fucking idiot.
clapping?
What is
That
that?
defeats the whole point.
What is
This
that?
is your issue, you fucking idiot.
Is that for deaf people? What
Jazz
is that?
hands. Jazz hands were invented about 10 years ago at this point, I think, when the SJWs claimed that clapping might trigger someone's PTSD. So please, instead, just either snap your fingers,
You're not
or
joking.
better yet, just jazz hands.
Wouldn't snapping the fingers just be akin to, like fireworks going off or
I don't know.
gunfire?
Yes.
I know that's why they then went to the jazz hands, so that instead of applauding, you just quietly wiggle your hand in applause.
Well, I do
It's
It's completely insane.
I do recall. I don't know if you guys remember the '90s, but I do recall an American gladiator. Her name was Siren or Shelley or I don't know, something like that, and she was deaf. And the way she wanted people to applause, like she didn't care, but she would
Stomp their
like.
feet.
Sorry.
Stomp their feet.
No. Instead of clapping, like you would put your hands out and you would close them very quickly, because that's more. You could see that easier than clapping, because clapping is just a small little motion.
What?
Yeah, no, this was a real thing. So that's what people would do, because when she would perform and run around and body check people or whatever they did, she couldn't hear anything, so she looked around at the audience and they would do that for her. So that was like a form of respect to the athlete being herself doing whatever. So maybe this is that sort of idea, but I've never seen this before. I've never seen.
No, it's not. It's not for deaf people.
Oh, it's not.
Even though
Their claim is that clapping might trigger someone's PTSD. So in order to not trigger someone's PTSD with the sound of clapping, the sudden sound, sudden loudness, the social anxiety, all that nonsense, wiggle your hands. And with someone with, and as Zoro in the chat also says, people with real PTSD look at this and think these people are fucking crazy, and it's actually insulting to people with the real issue, because clapping applause does not trigger PTSD. If clapping applause triggers anyone's PTSD, you can't go outside, and it's so severe, you need to go to a clinic. You need instant therapy now, and you can't participate in the outside world.
Yeah, you
can't be in some lecture anywhere and talk about social justice nonsense.
Yeah, you'd be scared of loud noises on the street, downtown. Forget going to a ball game. Forget going to any kind of enclosed space.
It's not necessarily forgetting. It's that you couldn't if you wanted to.
Yeah, they just don't even bother. I didn't know.
Speaking of someone being deaf, the girl on the right here in the close-up is deaf.
Oh, she is. Okay, so maybe
What a coincidence.
that might make sense to me. But
Is she deaf? Because in the cutscene, the sound just sounds like she's massively hearing impaired, but not fully deaf.
There
Okay.
might have been
Details.
some change there, but in Miles's game, she was completely deaf.
You can
I don't know if
probably
anything.
fix that.
I don't know.
The way that sounds, you can probably fix that with a hearing aid.
Anyway,
From the look of the still, she might have one.
it could be a thing for deaf people. It could also be very much the thing about not triggering people, which is weird.
It's not a thing for deaf people, Smart.
Well,
I've followed this whole trajectory of this ideology making up this shit,
all right.
and they stopped for a long time because it is just silly.
Okay.
They notice that people just look at them in shame by proxy.
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
they figured it out now.
Oh, yeah. And if this triggers anyone, then yes, be triggered.
Okay, all right.
Feed me with your tears.
Let's keep going. Well, Appabend seems to agree, right? So we're all understanding what he's saying.
Still an idiot with this fucking take.
How progressive indeed. Though I must admit that the suit that got unlocked after finishing the Brooklyn Visions quest is pretty freaking dope. I mean, look at that Puerto Rican flag on Miles' Spider-Man outfit. Super patriotic. I love it. Hopefully no one figures out that Spider-Man is Puerto Rican or anything, but that...
Also, that thing looks a lot like Captain America.
Yeah. Which is why the meme of Captain Puerto Rico exists.
Okay.
Also, someone to whom this applies to, fuck off.
All right.
I don't need this in my game.
It's also
I'm
not very
patriotic
far
as it
away from the
is.
Cuban flag.
They had the
Give it a
patch
moment.
about that was they had the patch.
Give it a moment. It's gonna come up here. It's gonna come up.
All right.
Oh no.
All right.
Mike, also
This
hello
at
Ken.
least much better than
Hello,
Mouse's
hello.
Evolve suit. What the hell are
Garbage.
those?
I see we're
Baggio.
covering Spider-Man 2 with Appabend.
Yes, and I'm hurting.
You want to know why they made
Yeah,
this?
I saw it in passing and was like, I'm gonna have to jump on when I get home.
These all look like ugly jogging suits.
You want to know what they made it, though?
This costume is utterly brain dead.
Miles Morales
Have
is a
you already
jogger
talked
who
about
wants to be
the
seen
funny
in the
thing
dark.
about this? The
but
funny
you-
thing about this costume is the entire thing is like an Adidas like advertisement.
Yes.
Because like
Exactly.
right when the game came out, you could literally buy this entire thing.
Yeah, but
It has
Ken,
sneakers
Ken,
as the shoes.
black
Yep.
urban people love buying Adidas.
Apparently so.
Also, please
Oh,
tell
Like
me
the
I'm not the only
Turks
one
in
that.
Germany who copied the whole black urban culture.
Also, I'll be sad if no one sees the very obvious elephant in the room with this costume. Look at that hair.
The hair sticking out.
It's,
hair
it's,
giving
the,
the-
guy, it's the same hair that he has when he's not wearing the costume. Fucking
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah, it's
Well,
just
I-
more reasons to know that. Hey, I know who you are.
They did
It's
it
not.
so that
It's not
all
even.
the
This is not just a woke thing. This is just a common sense thing within
Yes.
superhero land.
Yeah,
You
but
don't
also
do
so
this!
that look, the
You-
Spider-Man is black. That's what it's
yeah,
about. That's why it's
exactly.
there.
They
And-
want you to know that you look at the hair and you go, oh, it's black hair. He's a black person. It's
This
like, oh,
goes
okay.
against. This goes against very fundamental superhero logic. You don't do this.
especially the foundation of Spider-Man, which was all about that everybody could imagine himself as Spider-Man.
Exactly. In
There's
Marvel,
actually
I
an
don't know.
even worse part about this costume that I feel like I have to point out as a Spider-Man fan. If you look at the logo, the fucking spider only has 4 legs now.
Oh.
Because the
Yeah.
4 blue lines are the spider legs, so the spider
Yeah.
only has 4 legs now. You
And
ruined
for the
logo.
record, the
Oh
one
no
all-
no
let me just say this. The one all the
No,
way
no.
on the left is the default, by the way.
Yeah, the left one.
That thing looks already like a bad DLC bullshit thing. But no, the legs are the black stripes surrounding the colored part.
That's even worse.
It still
That's okay.
works.
That's okay. That's okay. But it's still 8 legs. It's
Just
it's stupid 8 legs, but it's 8 legs.
Okay.
Again, going off of the left one, which is the default, it looks completely ridiculous. Why is that blue? First of all, second of all, sneakers, regular ass sneakers, and
Well,
then
I know
again,
they
that
made
hair.
it blue. They
just
made
looks-
it blue because of his like blue electricity.
If anything,
That's
the
why they
one
made it
on
blue.
if anything, the one on the middle to the right, the one that's mostly black,
Number 3.
that makes more sense. Number 3, that
Yeah,
one makes
yeah.
more sense.
Yeah, that
There's
also blends
so
in
much
more.
weird going on with this
It fit-
costume because
It's
like
closer. It's closer to his classic costume, which is basically
like
the same,
the
just
hoodie,
simpler.
the hoodie has webbing, has like the webbing outlines. Then the pants don't. The mask also doesn't. Then he has white shoes no matter what. And then he has the fucking hair. Like what even is this costume?
Remember, it looks like an Adidas. What would you say, Adidas?
Yeah.
It is Adidas.
Yeah, he's wearing Adidas shoes.
Yeah, but also the pants with the ones with the stripe on the side, and the stripe just being cut off at the waist makes it look so much like he's wearing pants and not a superhero costume.
The entire point of the Spider-Man costume, that's even though it's not a onesie, when you see the costume normally, it looks like a onesie.
Yeah.
This
All
does not look like a onesie.
All right.
Like he's
Let's
not-
get on with it.
What the hell are those?
Looks like a weird butler jacket.
Yeah, this was basically the take we just made right now.
Just put a bow tie on him.
Yeah.
go too far with the comedy, man.
Oh, wait a second. Speaking of flag, isn't there a flag situation with Spider-Man 2? Yes, there is. Turns out Insomniac confused the flag of Cuba and Puerto Rico in some parts of the game. I mean, the design is similar in terms of structure, and I have a good feeling that the people who work on these are colorblind. Like, literally colorblind. So they really couldn't distinguish.
I think
They shouldn't be working on games like this.
I can't even imagine they did this on purpose because they're all fans of Cuba, because they're all communists, and therefore prefer Cuba over Puerto Rico.
If you were not going to say it, I was absolutely going to say it because goddamn, it's that obvious.
All right. Yeah, that's obvious.
Fine, I don't know.
Or another. Okay, then. Correct, but man, this is embarrassing. Especially when you made
the problem with this
tweet.
being an honest mistake is that they made the same mistake in the first game.
I mean, Eric, Ken, you guys have the game. Have they fixed that yet?
I don't know. There's like only one scene where you actually like see his house from the inside.
Oh, just wow.
They'll probably
because
fix
it's like
it.
one of those sections where you like play as Miles, so you can't repeat it.
Oh yeah, they
So
don't.
I don't know if they fixed it.
You're gonna have to restart all over and play the game again.
Yeah, even though like the previous Miles game had like a mission select, this one doesn't. This one has like a lot of missing features. It doesn't have New Game Plus either.
At least the advantage is that it's all real-time cutscenes, so they can just replace the texture. But even then, it's still a boneheaded mistake that should not have passed playtesting.
Wait, they playtest these games?
That's the joke.
Sweet. Insomniac Games is pushing that stupid Latinx agenda stuff to everyone with their October.
Oh yeah, we do get a part about the fake language they put into the game.
Oh yeah, in the Spanish stuff.
Fake language. I think you mean gibberish.
Yes, it's the same thing. They
utterly
did the
brain dead gibberish.
They did the whole Spanish dub with their fake socialist newspeak Latinx crap where they neutralize all the gendered endings of nouns.
And they can burn in hell for it.
Oh.
Apparently, like one of the biggest like Spanish streamers, when he heard that, he immediately turned off like the woke podcast in the game.
Yeah, because it's when you hear your language actively butchered like that, you think you're listening either to a retard or an asshole.
Or an alien.
Yeah, that's his
or
reaction.
that. Like smut. It's like every Spanish word that can be male or female is male or female, like Latina or Latino.
Yeah.
They turn into Latine.
What?
So everything's an E at the
E.
end. Everything's
They
an E at
made
the end.
Spanish French for whatever reason. They made it French.
I swear my heart skipped a beat when you said it.
Okay.
Can you not call me hombre? Call
It
me
hurts.
hombre, please.
Anyway, let's keep on.
It hurts. It just hurts. That's all I can say.
All right.
Latinx in gaming. No wonder what. Pretty much 99% of Latinos hate anyone who uses Latinx. So their attempt at being inclusive only ends up being
100%.
exclusive. So yeah, they're
Because the inclusion is not about being inclusive. It is cultural imperialism. The very thing that they always complain about the evil white people are doing, that's what the socialists are doing. They want all cultures to be gender neutral, and then later on, all to speak the exact same language, have no cultural artifacts, and just accept the artificial socialist culture that they invent. That's what they did in the Soviet Union. That is what Soviet means. It's what they're doing in Europe under the European Union, where they create this fake idea of the Europeans, so that we're not German and French and Swedish anymore, or British, but instead we are all now European. And that is not just nothing. It's a nothing culture.
Can we try
to do this because they want for their world domination plan, which is 100, 200 years in the future. They want it so that if everyone's the same on the planet, then there won't be individual cells of cultures that will rise up against them.
Well, anyone
you
who
wanted to say?
who has a celebration of Heritage Months, I always try to wrap my brain around why they're doing that. What's the point?
We don't get that. We don't get that because we're evil European white people who don't have culture. Therefore, we're not allowed to celebrate our culture. Especially in Germany, because we're instantly Nazis if we like anything German, like beer.
Oh.
Even as a kid, I never understood any of these heritage months. I'm just like, what the hell is this?
Everyone gets one, unless you're too light-colored.
Yeah.
It's like one day, that's it. Only a month.
The funny thing about this is because it assumes that you just forget your heritage until it's this month, which is like, why would you... The insinuation behind it existing. It's like, oh man, I forgot.
What? I'm Italian? Oh, yeah.
I didn't know until this month.
Yeah, but the joke's even bigger that because the whole Black History Month is
just
has
forget
nothing to
they're
do
black.
with it. Is what the fuck is even black? It's not about Africa, and even then, all of Africa, that's not where the people are from. If you actually taught the black urbanites of the United States about the black history, the black history of their ancestors, man, they would hate their African cousins.
Well, let's not get into that.
As a wise black man once said, the Hutu and the Tutsi murdered each other.
All right.
Never forget.
Black man said, "Are you out your damn mind?"
Yeah.
As Africans say today, why would we want these people back? We enslaved them and sold them to you guys. We don't want them back.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Yes.
So yeah, there are lots and lots of stupid things about Spider-Man 2 and their attempts at being progressive that I think Insomniac needs to rectify. If all of these things like the rainbows, the frankly embarrassing flag debacle, and oh god, the freaking jazz hands turned you off the game, then it's best for you to not buy the game and wait for the PC version in a couple of years because they're at least DRM free, and that means you can steal the 7 Cs for them. So it's no surprise that they're gonna do that to Spider-Man 2 as well in a couple of years. Just waiting for Bloodborne to be next, right? From software, that or just do what I and just watch the game on YouTube. If you play the previous Spider-Man games, they're only a...
So, has he just admitted here that he hasn't actually played the game? He said he watched it on YouTube, like Rex.
I am gonna go with that.
In this case, I would find this acceptable. If I hear this much nonsense about the game, I didn't buy God of War Ragnarok as well. I watched a long play of it, and that was torturous.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I'm gonna go with woke stuff is like in the side content. It's not in the main story.
I'm gonna go with he hasn't played the game because he would just have the footage for what he's talking about ready to go.
Yeah, because like one of the side quests where you like play as the deaf girl. That's a thing, by the way. You play Miles' deaf
for some reason.
And like all of her thoughts are emojis because deaf people think in emojis. And
right.
Yeah, sure.
She's
oh no,
like,
the idea
on the wall and
the idea like the idea about that is that you as the player now see the world like the deaf girl would. Because you don't hear what people are saying. You only see their facial expressions and body language, and therefore you see her thoughts as emojis.
Oh,
doesn't work fully, but I see the artistic idea, but the whole thing is just bullshit.
And that's not even the worst of it.
It's a prototype for the Echo game.
That's not even the worst of it. Okay, so let me just give some background before we go back to the video. Well, we can agree that Venom was the most hyped up thing in this game, right?
Yeah, he's barely in it.
Right? He doesn't have the most screen time. You want to know what does?
What?
Mary Jane.
What was the most hated part of the first game?
The MJ mission section.
Yeah, and she has even more. She has even more of that here. There's more Mary Jane than Venom.
Yeah, Brian Intihar, like the director, literally said like he wanted to make more MJ missions, and so he cut other content for the MJ missions.
And then he was like, "Oh, if people don't like it, I don't give a shit."
That's
Thanks, Brian.
And it's like the the Venom voice actor basically confirms that there was cut content of his arc because in like the interviews
They got Tony freaking Todd to voice Venom, and he's almost not in the game at all.
Tony Todd in the interviews like talked about things that never happened, and he talked about those before marketing.
And
so,
you know
there
what?
was no marketing talk.
And you know what? The whole thing with Venom is just a rehash of Web of Shadows from 15 years ago.
It's a rehash of Web
And
of
King in
Shadows.
Black because they gave him wings and gave everyone like the
bullshit.
null symbol.
Wings
Just
It's
got
so
worse.
stupid. Like when I saw the fucking wings, like Venom grow wings and the fucking symbiotes have the
First of all,
symbol,
where
I was like,
did
oh
those
my
come
God,
from?
why?
Where did those
Where
come
the
from? What is he doing with wings? He doesn't need wings. He has the powers of Spider-Man.
And can
Yeah,
jump really high.
They did the fucking Venom movie thing where he can't web swing; he just jumps around.
May I say that the armpit webs just look like armpit hair?
In this game, yes. This Venom. This is a worse Venom than Spider-Man 3. I never thought I'd live to see the day where that was a possibility.
He's somehow more inaccurate.
Well,
Which is
Not somehow. He just straight up is.
Okay.
How is it worse?
So
it's not really, so you know.
Like the most accurate thing is that he says "we." that's the most accurate thing he addresses.
Not the
himself
least
as
of
we.
which being the fact that it's not even Eddie Brock.
Oh, really?
Is Venom?
It's not even Eddie
It's
Brock.
Harry
It's,
Osborn.
it's Harry Osborn, which they did once before in the 2017 Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, which is just a shit.
Everybody
And
hates it.
Everybody
And
hates it.
Ah, that's a great idea.
First of all, it was based on Ultimate Spider-Man, which was already shit. It was the best thing out of Ultimate Marvel, but it was still shit, let's be honest.
All right, let's continue.
We've talked about this
Couple of
before with
tweaks
Venom.
and upgrades in the gameplay department.
Let me just say this quick. We've talked about this before with Venom. You introduce them slowly. You do the arc with planning for it ahead of time, and this clearly just sandwiched him in there because brand recognition, and that is the worst way to do it.
I even said like to a friend of mine that the whole like the symbiote arc came way too soon. Like you need to build this up, and you can't have like Venom in the same game where you have the symbiote like introduction.
Venom
He should have
in the
like, been like
comics.
next game.
Venom in the comics took a decade to be introduced from going off of Secret Wars. A decade. That's why no other version is gonna work unless it's a 90s version, which did the arc over like a season or so, which is close enough. But every other version simply does not or cannot do that, and that's why they just can't do it right.
I mean,
Let
the
alone
funny
this
thing
game.
is this is literally just like the Raimi Spider-Man 3 again. Like you put way too many things into the story, even
At
though the
least-
main focus should have been Venom.
At least
Raimi
the
has the excuse that he didn't want to do that. He wanted to make an
Exactly,
extra
and
movie.
these people
and he
did want to
sabotaged
do
it
it,
to
so it's
stick it
even
to-
worse.
We've talked about that too. He didn't like the character, and he stuck to Sony by writing him like shit to prove, yeah, this was a bad idea. Do something else.
You know, the Mary Jane thing sounds like the writer's poorly disguised fetish.
Again, it was the worst thing from the very first game, but they brought it back anyway.
Yeah, bring
Well,
it out
isn't-
as a
isn't like-
DLC then.
Isn't like Mary Jane like a self-insert for one of the female writers on the team? She looks
Yes.
the exact same as
Oh,
her.
really?
Oh, they did that again?
Trans female.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
and her bio is like on
Someone
I'm
watching
a
the stream right
queer
now,
person.
find that and put it in memes. We need that
Hold on.
context. Find
All
it.
right.
Someone
Yeah.
find it.
Pigman, hold on. You said she's trans.
I believe I'd heard that along with that. Yeah, that
In,
apparently
the, in her in the character biography or that writer
The
self-insert?
writer. Yeah,
Okay.
that would explain the jaw. I mean,
Okay. Well, hopefully we can see that in the memes at the end of the
I
stream.
don't have that jawline.
Let's keep going. There's a lot to cover. So
Yeah, someone find that. Put it in the memes. Moving on.
Not worth getting a
I already found it,
PS5
I'm
over.
posting it
So
later.
go for the previous
All right.
games for the gameplay and watch the story on YouTube. Save some money. That or borrow your friend's PS5 that they've been only using for Netflix. No, really, someone did that. Having political sliders built into certain
Oh, here we go.
What the hell is a political slider? A simple yet effective slider that you can set in the beginning of any game, like Spider-Man 2, where it simply asks you a series of questions to customize your game.
What?
This is just
cool.
This is
I
just
like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
but,
before
but ultimately,
Propaganda intensity slider. I like that.
But ultimately,
Yeah, but
but hold on. This is just one step further from the required pronoun selection at the beginning of Starfield. It's just a step further from that.
I was actually about
You
to
just
say
asked
this too.
before that. You just asked before that. How much of our political propaganda do you want to have in your game? And when you click 0, then you won't get the pronoun question.
But
then that would lead. But then that's going to lead to them saying, the developer saying, "Oh, like the version that has everything maxed out is the canon version." I'm just like, fuck off.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Happens.
Gingerman, that doesn't matter. This won't happen anyway
Yeah, there's
because they will never
there's another
allow us to
problem.
reduce their propaganda. That goes against strategy of the propaganda.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah,
They know
there's
they
another
won't.
problem
Ken,
with this
when
because
you say
Ken
go
then
ahead,
Eric.
Okay,
then you get a fine.
because it just assumes that we just basically capitulate because this slider means it's just standard now that everything is propaganda. So you get this slider so that you can turn it off instead of just not making propaganda and just making a game. Like this slider idea only exists because this person just accepted that this is going to be a thing for everything.
Well, think about it this way. This person says, okay, the contents in the game, like the flags, imagine the sliders, like you turn the flags on and off to whatever flags are supposed to be. Like, what is a slider of 5 points, and the fifth point, the most right side of the slider, would be what? Like rainbow flags everywhere?
Everyone is
that's the issue. How the hell would this even work? What's the what would the calculation
with
be?
this?
The
Because they
maximum
would
is
never,
everyone
they
is
would never
genderless
do
trans
this.
people that reproduce
they
at
would
will.
They would never add this because the entire point is to force it on you. They don't want you to have a choice.
What if I use
that's
the
the point?
to go into the negatives? Would it be like Nazi Germany or something?
Oh my god.
Yeah, but look, this is what they.
the translate.
Yeah, look what they did in the Soviet Union and it also in East Germany, because that was sort of part of it, although not entirely, but it's because we actually made them money and helped them survive. But what they did there is that they also took away all the cultural artifacts we had, like the city festivals and such, and statues and anything, and replaced it with their just soul dead brutalist art, and put up renamed all the streets from historical names to socialists or to Hegel and such people, as well as put up monuments to their heroes like Lenin and Marx. We have one in my hometown to this day that they put up again in the early 2000s after it was removed after the fall of the wall, because people were fucking happy that the shit was gone. And what do they do 10 years later? Put it up again. Because that's what it's about. You are not allowed to have your own culture. You're not allowed to not have the socialism. This is the modern version of socialist propaganda. People keep saying, oh, woke isn't socialism. It's woke. It's its own thing. No, it's just its iteration right now. The version that you had during the Weimar Republic is another version that you had during the Nazi era. There was actually a different branch. But it's also a different version than you had after World War II. It's a different version than the Chinese have. This is just the current version in the West. And they try to demoralize you and make you give up, make you not like all your cultural artifacts anymore, make you not fondly remember Star Wars and Star Trek, Indiana Jones, all these wonderful things, because now we all have these bad memories of how they defiled it. And that's how they get rid of the old culture, by us not even wanting it anymore. That's why they do this. And they make money while doing it until they don't. And it doesn't matter to them that these studios eventually go bankrupt, because those are all just useful idiots to them. One of the maxim of this strategy is, or the belief of this whole thing of the march through history, is that history uses people and then discards them. They don't care about the well-being of their own useful idiots. That's the whole joke. That's why they don't care about the writer's strike, because they've done their job. They've ruined the culture. Now it's bankrupt. So off with them.
Well,
they can go starve now. They've served their purpose.
And back to the concept of a slider, the technical requirements for each point or sliding scale is silly. This is, would you add content? Would you take away content? Would you replace it? Would you change dialogue? It's too much of a thing to even consider to put content.
The main problem is like I said, it's the idea. Like the idea that this person even came up with this slider is because he just accepted that this is gonna be a thing. Yeah. Even though what we should be saying is just don't make the fucking thing in the first place.
It's bargaining. It's in the stages of grief. This is the bargaining stage.
Yeah, this is the person who believes in the thing in the first place and says, well, I understand some people don't like it, but I still want it. Therefore, let's have
the problem.
He's
again,
not necessarily
with the
for it.
is...
He's just looking for, hey, can't we coexist somehow? You can have your bullshit shit, and we can have it without.
So he wants like the option for you to choose. Like the idea in itself does make sense. The problem is the other party does not want you to choose. Yeah. You don't have a choice. That's the point.
Yeah, because these people are tyrants. They're authoritarians who disguise themselves as liberal. A liberal would be would be fine with, okay, you do your thing, we do ours. We don't step on each other's toes. But as you say, that's not what they want.
They literally said that they know people don't like the Mary Jane missions, and they add them again, anyways, because fuck you, I guess.
Yeah, it's like what was his name? Ruth Judkins, who ruined Wheel of Time, who said, if they don't like it, if they complain more, I'll make another character gay, haha, because I can.
All right. Anyway, this is a post that is kind of silly and not really have anything to do with the content of the game. So,
but one more thing, Eric, you wanted to say something? We all got a bit raged here.
Especially I mean, I could add to the Mary Jane stuff, which is nobody wanted it. And then later she's a boss battle because one of the symbiotes attaches to her, makes her scream.
And she becomes Scream.
She spouts off every deplorable thing you could say to Peter, like, have we talked about this? Where in the Scream boss fight, she basically complains about how hard her life is and how Peter sucks and all this shit. And Peter's like, no, please, you're so important to the city. I suck so much. Please, Mary Jane, please.
Oh wow, I did not know that exists. Okay, that really goes into this what I said before, the author's poorly disguised fetish. Trying to denigrate Peter and putting her up as this powerful thing that hates men.
Yeah, he literally tells her, oh, the city needs you too. It's like, what? Fucking New York does not need Mary Jane. What does she do? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean the city needs her? The city needs you.
Yeah, Peter's saving people from danger, overshadowed.
Yeah, she writes the fucking book about Ukraine or whatever. I don't know.
The book didn't sell well. You, as Spider-Man, stole my fire.
That's one of the funniest lines in the fight. She's like, oh, Peter's like, oh, Mary Jane, you wrote the book. She's like, nobody read the book, and then he says, I read the book. It's like
this is like the same shit we were dealing with Spider-Man 3, where Mary Jane complains that Peter's out saving the world, and it's just done worse in this game. Like, it's amazing how fucking retarded it is.
All right,
because these people only care about their own shit. She already did it in the
first game. She should have been done with this, but she's doing it again.
Let us keep going. This is a point that has nothing to do with the game. It's just his. I guess he's just looking at the internet and finding weird stuff about it.
I say it's an attempt at bargaining. This post.
All right.
Doesn't sound like a bad idea, but what kind of political thing you want to customize? And what kind of question do you want to ask? Hey, do you like to see rainbow flags everywhere or the American flags everywhere? Do you want to accept the reality that New York is progressive and that people are flying the pride flags left and right? Or remain in your fantasy land where the gays won't bother you? This, of course, would only be for games.
Did everyone catch that? This was the point where I wrote the comment under the video where I said something along the lines of, interesting mask-off moment there, Appabend. Like, did you hear how he described these options?
No, it's two extreme options, and they're both not real.
I just don't.
But both are not real
like
because the progressive fantasy land is just as much just bullshit. Because yes, New York is run by socialist scammers, but it's not a happy place. It's actually a pretty horrible place where you get killed very easily by very horrible people, not supervillains.
Yeah, but that's the problem. That's the real world. We're talking about a comic book world where this is an already established Spider-Man that's been going on for 8 or 10
The way he frames this is that the other option is, oh, you live in a fantasy land where there is no gay people.
Yeah, but
That's
that is
not-
also a fantasy.
Well,
that is a fantasy.
yeah, that's
land.
what this
That
is.
image is a fantasy land. I wouldn't call it a mask-off moment at all. It's just describing the way it is.
This is
Well,
comic
but
books.
that's not what people are arguing for. They're not arguing for, oh, there's no gay people, or the gay people don't exist.
Yeah, but look, that is what
that is
but that is what the political slider would be. You would have extremes at both ends, and reality is not at any of the extremes. It's probably also not in the exact center. It's at some value.
Then you have the other thing to consider, that this is not reality. This is Marvel New York. This is a comic world. It's not real.
All right. Well,
It's especially since they can't show the Chrysler Building anymore.
I don't think he's trying to
That
make a
too.
dig at anyone specifically. He's just trying to make an exaggeration. So
Is there a patent on the Chrysler Building?
I'm sure there is.
I think they couldn't get the rights to include it. I
That's
don't
what I
actually
meant.
know how this works, but yeah.
I thought no, the cost was too high and they didn't want to.
They couldn't do it in the first game either, yeah.
All
No,
right.
they did. It's in the first game.
Did they?
What you mean the Chrysler Building? Yeah, it's in the
it's in the
first two games. Yeah,
Was it in
It's-
Miles Morales?
yeah.
No, they took it off.
No, they took it off by then.
Yeah, because
I mean, the articles that came out recently were for Spider-Man 2, not for Miles Morales. That would have made news back then when Miles Morales came out.
Such a right should be nonsense if it's about displaying your city.
Building rights.
Anyway.
Fucking building in the game.
Well, let's keep going.
World in any fashion. Wouldn't need something like this in Elden Ring or any game that couldn't really be politicized. Okay, I understand the sentiment, but this is a really terrible way to phrase it. The backstory of Elden Ring is full of politics and interpersonal relationships between many of the major characters, and to say that the game cannot be politicized...
Yeah, but that's not propaganda. That's the difference. The word you're looking for, Appa, is propaganda. And that's the same word that this guy means, but also doesn't know.
Yeah, he's doing the thing where it's like, oh, these people say they don't want politics in the thing, but the thing is political, you see? And then
Yeah, but this is the word game.
This
This is the word game the socialists play, and that we are obligated to unravel and show people, look, the language you're using, they are telling you they're playing on you not using the correct language, that you are not precise enough, therefore they can play their bullshit arguments. If you use the correct words, you can defeat their bullshit arguments. Because the claim that, oh, you don't want politics in your games, wrong. We don't want propaganda in our games.
All right.
Yeah, because one example I can name right off the top of my head of a piece of media having politics in it but not being propaganda. The DCAU, the Cadmus arc, the whole Cadmus arc was very much politicized, but it wasn't the woke propaganda that it would be now. And it was handled very well in that arc, except for Amanda Waller taking it easy on the Soviets, which was retarded. But
Star Wars under George Lucas has politics in it, but they're all in universe.
it's all in universe stuff.
The difference with those and what makes it not propaganda is the same thing that makes the politics in the comic series Transmetropolitan not propaganda. Because it has several political sides, depicts them rather objectively, and has them both fight it out. And you see the positives and negatives of both of them. While propaganda is completely one-sided, and my side is only good, it has never any problems, and everyone who disagrees with me is a bad guy. That's propaganda.
Hell, they in the DCAU they literally had Green Arrow admit that he was a leftist, but within the surrounding context with that dictates that it was very carefully handled and very well written, and the subject matter was handled with respect, as opposed to nowadays.
Okay. Let's keep going.
Yes.
Doesn't have any. No. That determines how much progressive things are in the game so you can censor them for your convenience.
How progressive?
And yes, that's what this is. This is censorship. You are advocating for the developers to give the option to censor stuff that...
Yes, I want to censor communism. That is true. So that we can properly... I want to censor communist propaganda, just like Nazi propaganda is being censored, because that's what's happening in our country. So, equal before the law. The same I want Islamist propaganda censored, because that is actual hate speech in the original meaning of the term, incitement for violence and insurrection. That is what communist propaganda is, by the way. So that we can and should give a proper education about these things. Objective history education, something that is not happening, not in my country, not even about our own history, because lo and behold, history in our schools ends in 1945. Because otherwise people would ask questions about what happened in East Germany, and then we would need to talk about it, and nobody would ever vote for a socialist party ever again. We can't have that. So history ends in 1945 in my country.
The thing is, while I agree with what you just said, we need to give Appabend that this is not actually censorship, this specific post. Because if it's a slider, if it's a choice, it's not censorship. Because censorship is when you can't choose.
What Appabend is with the best of intentions, falling into is a trap that the socialists put up, because every time they're weak in history, they claim they're all for the great liberties, for human rights, for free speech. So they must be able to talk. But the moment they are in power, they will censor everyone who is not of their opinion. And they will force their bullshit on you, like in Spider-Man 2. And what do we see when people make a mod that removes all the gay shit?
They ban it.
The mod is banned. The mod is censored.
And the person as well.
All mods that do the opposite, that insert all this stuff into games, those are allowed. Appabend, that is the problem. These people are hypocrites, and you must never play the game of a hypocrite. We cannot defend the freedom of our civilization by letting the people who exploit those freedoms in order to subvert and undermine them, to get rid of them, to let them do that. I'm sorry, I can't phrase this sentence off the cuff. It's a very complex problem. There is even in I have to consult the Human Rights Charter again. There are different versions of it, like the European one, which is not that good. Or I think our constitution has it. I'm not sure about the American constitution, but many constitutions in the world have a clause in them that says anyone exploiting the liberties and rights enshrined in this constitution in order to subvert it and get rid of this constitution, to this person, these rights and liberties and protections do not apply anymore because it's a fucking traitor. You don't get the protections if you exploit the protections in order to get rid of the protections. And that is what the socialists are doing. That is what we see with all of this. Oh, free speech for the socialists, but if you have a non-socialist opinion, no, you don't get to speak. You get deplatformed. You get cancelled, which is a euphemism for ostracized, socially destroyed, driven to suicide, or killed. I am not exaggerating. That is what by all means necessary means. It means all means. Lies, deceit, murder. That's all in there. Pushing propaganda into everything, everywhere, so that you can't escape it. It is not censorship
to ask for, hey, can I have less of this propaganda, please?
All right.
Sorry, I'm done.
We are almost halfway through the video, and hopefully it gets better because all he's doing is listing stuff that I think the public has already known or as we've seen on Twitter. Or
In general, he's on the right track, but I'm disagreeing on this point. But it's a very tricky one because that's the whole trick of the socialists, is to wrap you up to, they want to hold us to our standards while they don't hold themselves to those very standards. That's how they trick us.
Alrighty, let's keep going.
To say that you don't like. If a modder can simply change the pride flags to American flags in his game so he can enjoy what he's playing, why can't developers do the same for their audience? Because Insomniac is a progressive developer, and you just suggested to them to give players the option to censor progressive things out of their games. They're not going to be a fan of that.
They did it for Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, this is the thing I thought too. It's like, no, they're
Did
not
you know that
passionate.
at the point of making the video?
They literally made the Muslim version where all the gays don't exist. So,
Including the missions.
yeah, they changed the dialogue.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. All of this was cut for them.
So how much
Yep.
do we have to pay Insomniac for you to like censor this bullshit? How much is it gonna
None. Just find torrents.
I mean, I'm at the point where I would watch the Chinese versions of the Star Trek movies.
take?
If this game ever does come to PC, you bet your ass I'm gonna pirate it. They're not getting my money.
Hell yeah. Fight
All
the
right.
power, man.
They are very passionate about LGBT people. You can even say they are prideful to them, asking people
They are fanatical and fetishistic.
And that's the problem.
to censor they are extremely proud of. It's like asking Thor to put his hammer down.
So very easy.
Also,
They're so
because
proud of
they
it
like their bullshit and like to smear it into our faces, we have to accept it. This is where I'd
They're
say
so-
just don't buy it.
Also,
They're
Thor
so
putting
proud
the
of
hammer
it that
down.
they-
Thor putting the hammer down goes against his argument because that's the easiest thing for him to do.
You can just fall it back.
literally just, yeah.
That
So
too.
They're so proud of all of this that they just easily removed it for the Saudi Arabian version.
Yeah, so that they're not actually proud of it. They are obsessed with it. There is no actual pride in pride. It's obsession. Fanaticism, it is ego, it's narcissism.
They let it be known.
It is the world must be as I decree it. That is what that is. And that's why they're perfect goons for the socialists. Because the socialists function exactly the same way. Ken?
Yes.
I thought you wanted to say something.
You're good? All right.
I already said my thing.
All right.
Okay.
He loves his hand.
I use logic when it comes to politics.
Let me stop you right there. I already don't believe you.
No, you do not. No, you do not, you low-life imbecile. No one
Well, you
uses
aren't either.
logic.
He's trying more than you right now, Appa.
Exactly.
Why,
Yeah.
why is he?
I'm
why is
sorry.
he insulting him now? Why is he insulting this guy?
To use logic.
Why is he calling him an imbecile? What did he do? Because
Yeah,
he's
I'm
asking
not
for
trying-
no propaganda in his games.
Because he's not. Yeah. Because Appa misidentified the problem, and I don't want to be mean to you, Appa, but you went off on a
But you're asking
wrong
for it.
trail. You're on the wrong trail here.
And anybody who says asses, including you.
Like
and
you.
I will show you how. That means the middle, since both sides seem to have good points and also just plain stupid, illogical points, which I cannot stand by. Exhibit
Well, that
A. You.
No, that was actually more fair than the SJWs deserve. Because they
He's
don't have
being
that many
very
good points.
cordial with this.
Yeah.
He wants to clearly have like a middle ground where the woke people can have their woke game and the people that don't like it can have a normal game.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying he's in the
being very
bargaining
nice
stage.
with this. Yeah.
Well,
Like I don't know
Appa,
why that
Appa,
makes
you're
him an
currently-
imbecile.
Yeah, well, Appa is currently in this instance, for this point, making the work for the communists.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I'm not sure he's aware of that, or it's probably not his intention if he understood it, because he's otherwise a very bright guy.
Didn't Appa go against Ass on the Starfield thing too?
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
He made a video about pronouns, but he was explaining what pronouns are to him, and it's so like, yeah, he's not wrong, but it's something you don't need to explain. Like it's like defining the word the, or
no, Smart. You wish. We are in a time where we have to, because our children, or the current generation of children, is currently actively being taught wrong by schools and by the media.
People don't know what gender they are, even though that's supposed to be obvious.
Yeah, because they're actively confusing the children.
Yep.
So yes, I'm sorry. We need to explain these basic things again. It's to the point that a couple of years ago, a linguist even held a talk at the local university of how this actually works and where the sexus in German grammar comes from, and the sexus is not the same as gender. The socialists always talk about gendered language, but the grammatical term is sexus. That's a completely different thing. It's basically the same as lying about biological sex and this magical gender thing being the same thing, which they actively do conflate. And about language, they do the same thing.
All right.
It's even slower than your feet.
I use my brain rather than my heart for any situation. Okay, Spock, but sorry to say this, no you do not. You started this conversation by suggesting a progressive slider, because that's what it is, because the progressive stuff in the game bothers you. Even if I think that your idea is great, this whole post is not logical. It's very emotional.
It's bargaining. It's in the stages of grief. It is bargaining before he eventually gives up, accepts, rolls over, and lets the whole crap wash over him. At least he's still fighting back in some form. Is contrary to you right now, Appa.
How is asking questions emotional?
No, look, people always think they're logical and rational, even if they don't think how that works. That's everybody thinks he's rational. Everybody even thinks he's thinking. And it's not the case with lots of people, sadly. It's painful talking with certain people. There is no fault, and you can hear it in their language.
Also, why is Appa assuming that it bothers this person specifically? He's just asking for the option. Maybe he wants other people to have the option.
Mind reading.
It's mind reading both ways, so
anyway,
it doesn't matter.
Let's keep going.
Realize it. The more you sugarcoat this post as a logical thing rather than an emotional thing, the more up your own ass you are. Also, I do not like the word woke, but it really does sum up what I'm talking about. And yet you proceed to use that word in the subsequent paragraphs.
Yeah, why not? This is what this is.
That's nothing wrong with that.
The current iteration of socialist propaganda and politics is called woke. It's the woke
he
state.
literally explained
that is reality.
in this sentence. In this sentence, he said he doesn't like the word, but he doesn't know what other word to use.
Yeah, I don't like the word either. And the thing is that due to this word, this is the current sheep's clothing. People are incapable, because they don't know, to associate all of this crap with socialism and communism. They don't know. Because through this word, this weird word, there's a disconnect. And the socialists have done this before. Because at the beginning, socialism and communism was interchangeable. It had the same meaning. Then they noticed, people are afraid of communism, or growing afraid of it, like wary that it's actually shit. So let's claim that these are different things, and socialism is just the good stuff of communism, and working towards the utopia, which is communism, but we don't necessarily say that. And then after the Weimar Republic, they decided, people are getting a bit catching on that socialism is also shit and bad and evil. So let's call ourselves progressives. Because we progress. Where do we progress to? Well, along the march of history, which progresses towards utopia, which is communism.
But we don't say that. We just call ourselves progressive because who could be opposed to progress? Progress is good, right? And everybody can project their own idea of what progress means onto it, so they all join us. They all run along. And that's worked for, 70 years now? And now we have the woke phase, where we have this because the progressivism of the last 50 years since World War II, well, that was still quite, by today's standards, conservative. That's not good. That's evil. So we now have woke, which is the current version with all the rainbow shit and love is love and other creepy shit that all leads to the same pedophilia that the socialists always wanted, that Michel Foucault wanted, that the Green parties want. This is not hidden stuff. They openly advocate for this stuff in various parliaments around the Western world. And every few decades they try again. So this is nothing new. It's all the same shit. It's just a new word for it. So yes, the other word for woke is socialist. But when you bring that up, then they call you a tinfoil hat and you just want to be a McCarthyist and how dare you don't like our utopia. Yeah, I don't like your utopia because it's hell. And you'll throw people like me away afterwards anyway because I've served a purpose.
All right.
Rant over.
Wing-leaning parasite. You expect me to sit here and listen to your drivel?
Spider-Man 2 would benefit from this immensely, since they decided to go the full-blown woke or very liberal avenue, instead of having it somewhat in the middle at least for everyone to enjoy. Okay, you clearly haven't played the game, or even just watched the cutscenes on YouTube at least. Yes, there are lots of progressive stuff in the game. Yes, some of those progressive stuff are pretty dumb. Yes, those stuff got banned in some regions. However, in the context of the whole game, the whole package, 100% of the game, the progressive stuff makes up only some parts of the game.
Too much. How much poison do you need in order to die?
Also,
oh Mary Jane
is, like,
a central focus. Yeah, okay. There's not much.
Yeah, like what I was about to say, because you just mentioned Mary Jane.
Bargaining.
Because in the context of the main story, you can see certain writing decisions that are definitely woke. Because when you start the game immediately, like with the Sandman boss, Peter just gets thrown around. He can't handle himself. He almost dies in the first 10 minutes to Sandman, even though he already fought him in the past, and Miles has to come in to save him. You have 50 million fucking MJ missions. Like, Peter constantly loses his fights in the game, by the way.
Especially when he has the black suit. Let me finish. Even though he has the black suit later, when Spider-Man with the black suit can literally rip every single boss fight in the game to shreds.
Well, it comes to the end point, which is they want Miles to be the replacement for Spider-Man, and that's why you play as him when you have to fight symbiote Peter, because he's
and he is the replacement. They confirmed it on Twitter.
They literally confirmed it, yeah.
When Mary Jane, he could be the stay-at-home housewife now, while Mary Jane goes and writes another useless book that no one's gonna read.
It's like when the game came out, everyone was like, "Oh, Peter is not nerfed. He was still very strong. He wasn't nerfed."
He should
then
be
it's
strong.
like, no, they literally confirmed that he was nerfed because they tell you that they want to replace him.
Dude,
you can see it.
The example that disproves their whole logic is the fact that Web of Shadows literally starts with Spider-Man and Venom fight. Venom is bodying Spider-Man. The moment Peter gets that black suit back, he mops the floor with Venom.
Yeah, he bodies him, yes.
He bodies Venom in the opening boss fight because they both have the symbiote, yes, but it's normal human with symbiote versus Spider-Man with symbiote. You do the math.
The thing, and the difference always was, especially before the whole King in Black thing, is that Venom is not a good fighter. He's just strong. He isn't good at web swinging either. Yeah, he just does stuff.
As stupid as a gameplay decision it was in Web of Shadows, that's the reason why the brute enemies from near the end of the game are based on Venom, just to drive that point home. That they literally have that in that game just to prove that point.
Well, the whole idea was always that it's scary when the symbiote connects to Peter. No one can stop Peter at that point. The only one that can stop him is himself.
Yeah, because like Peter is already pretty OP, and then you fucking increase his power tenfold. That's scary as fuck.
Yeah, like Eric said, the only person that can stop Peter with the symbiote is himself.
But
Not even
so that should
again,
be impossible to beat him, and unless with out of fight nonsense.
Well, that's why. The statement is that he can only stop himself psychologically. That's the only way you can beat him. With the
and then
symbiote.
the game that made it that he couldn't save himself. It had to be Miles.
Exactly, which completely destroys that entire lore point.
Yeah,
it destroys the entire point of the symbiote arc because Peter wasn't actually the one that got rid of the symbiote. He needed help from Miles. Like what?
Eric?
Even Spider-Man 3 got that right. Let that sink in.
Like Spider-Man 3 does everything better. Like this makes it look god tier.
Exactly. Even written by someone who hates the character, he still got the broad strokes right. And that's saying something.
This is so crazy, like that you have to compare these two, and you're like, yeah, Spider-Man 3 is actually really good compared to this. That's so crazy. But
I remember there was a article somewhere saying that the company itself admitted that within the games they do want to replace Peter with Miles as the real Spider-Man,
and they will.
And they have.
Well, nobody's going to stop them except for your wallet.
Peter will be DLC, So.
Even then, the next game is not gonna come out anytime soon. So it will be really interesting if they're gonna go continue with the woke shit and they're gonna make Miles the main character, or if maybe they get cold feet and they're like, because if you compare the sales, fucking the Miles game, did it even make half of what the first game made?
No,
because I remember the sales were really bad for the Miles game.
Because as I've said before, that game is just BLM, the video game featuring Spider-Man.
Literally, yes. So if the third game is now fucking, it says Spider-Man 3 on the cover, and it's just fucking Miles with his Adidas suit. Who's gonna buy this shit?
There's gonna be even more people that are gonna notice the bullshit just from that alone.
Imagine you show a normie a game called Spider-Man 3 with this goofy ass fucking suit with Miles, and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, look at that yee ass haircut, man.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, "What is this Spider-Man?"
And this all the mistreatment of Peter Parker as a character all ultimately really started back in One More Day. That was the real genesis of this whole thing.
Yes, and he hasn't really recovered since.
He has not. Since 2004, which ironically had one of the best stories the characters ever had, which was the Raimi Spider-Man 2. That's irony.
After one thing to address with Appabend here, and that seems like he's back to the denial stage, and I think the grief model is really applicable here, and that is that this whole it's just a few percentage points, just a little bit in the game, you can ignore that. I'm sorry, that's how we got here. Over all these decades, it's just a little bit. It's just a few weirdos over there in the corner. Yeah, those few weirdos over there in the corner that we ignored because everybody kept saying, it's just a few weirdos in the corner. They're running the show now. They are putting this shit everywhere. They are running the government. And soon, everything's going to crumble down because we listen to bullshit denial crap like this by not opposing them. We gave them what they wanted, which is let them do whatever. And this is a trick they play, by the way. It's they love to put people in a decision dilemma. Another term for that is a double bind. You find that in narcissistic abuse a lot, where do it, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So if we let them do it, if we ignore them, then they will freely do all their shit, get bigger, recruit more people, propagandize.
if we say anything against them, then it will be, oh, how dare you stand against progress, how you're so mean, you're right-winger, you're Nazi, let's cancel you. Then they attack you, and if nobody stands up for you, because everyone else is in this, I don't want to be the next target, and it's only a few of these weirdos, let's let them do it. Then they get what they want. The only way this stops is if we actually do what these people do all the time, which is band together and say, no, piss off, and take your stupid ideology with you. Get some island somewhere and try your stupid shit there. But get away from here. You've never proven this works, and it won't ever work. Because that's not what it's about. It's not about working. The woke stuff, the socialist stuff in each iteration, it's not about working, it's not about helping anyone, it's not about making the world better. It's a scam in order to build totalitarianism. And it starts by trying to sell you little gifts, little niceties, that it just wants to make the world better. That's how it recruits you. It's like a cult. It tells you, oh, you have a problem. Yeah, we're gonna help you get rid of your problem, but they never do.
All right.
They just then tell you that you need to do everything they want.
Here is...
Before you know it, you have this totalitarian bullshit. It starts here.
Tyler Preston, thank you, sir. The game could have Miles easily be the Scarlet Spider in that game's universe, but they chose not to. Well, there's lots of things they could have done with...
I'd rather have Ben Reilly.
Just have him call.
I mean, another thing...
Scarlet Spider to the actual Scarlet Spider.
Yeah, but like that's also one of those things. Is like people actually seem to like want to propagate this idea that it's a good thing that both of them are just called Spider-Man and call each other Spider-Man. Like you see so many tweets where people are like they're making like the Chad Yes meme that they call each other Spider-Man, even though like everyone else thinks it's stupid.
Even with Spider-Gwen,
this idea that it's good.
Even with Spider-Gwen, they realized it was stupid to call her Spider-Woman and gave her her own name. Ghost Spider.
Yeah, it's like Miles is the only one that they're so afraid to give him his own name. It's crazy.
They even named the damn cat Spider.
It's not that they're afraid. It's that's the plan.
Well, because they want to replace Peter.
Because everybody's a Spider-Man except Peter.
They want to replace Peter, even though Peter is the one that put Marvel on the map in the first goddamn place.
Yes.
Literally 6 decades ago.
Like they
for
can
6 decades, and for how many decades
Marvel.
did they try to make Captain Marvel the face of Marvel?
Yeah, exactly. Like they can
Like
push
one.
Miles and Captain Marvel. It's not going to work.
Well, the
People
whole
want
thing with Peter started 2 decades ago in 2004 with One More Day.
Yep.
And even back then, it was too much. Oh.
Anyway. We are almost 8 minutes in. We got, 5 minutes left.
All right.
5% at most. They're actually essential for the game, like the gameplay, the combat, the story, the stealth, the exploration, the web.
Oh, you mean like in God of War Ragnarok, where the whole fucking game is just woke propaganda crap? For that, I can at least say that is all bullshit. The gameplay is at best mediocre. Horrible side quests, the stupid puzzles, stupid talking, communist advertisement and capitalism critique in the codex notes, and a complete ripping apart of characters and mythology. But hey, maybe it's done well in this game. Have you only have you only watched the sequences, or have you watched the long play where you can actually judge everything, like the NPC dialogue banter bullshit? Because I haven't seen the long play of this game.
Like that's the thing that's hard to judge with him here, because like he just says I watched it on YouTube, but there's like so many ways he could have done this. He could have just watched the cutscenes. He could have actually watched like all of the gameplay, only the gameplay of the main story.
Yeah,
like we don't know.
Yeah, with this stuff now, I would be very careful to judge all the out of cutscene stuff, especially since we've seen stuff outside the cutscenes that are absolutely abhorrent.
But like again,
And,
like
and the fighting
main-
can be fun. The fighting gameplay can be fun. The,
gameplay is
the
very
spider
fun.
webbing around stuff can be fun. But
It
if
is.
that is all that's good about your game, I'm sorry, you failed. This is not 1980 anymore.
What people
Because,
like
like,
Yeah,
again,
Nintendo can
side
make that
quests-
work.
The side
not
quests are
anyone
definitely woke.
I like to web sling and web glide now and web surf and web people up. Like some of these people are not really thinking about.
And the thing with the side quests, the thing with the side quests is there really isn't even actual side quests. There's like there's like the flame quest with like Carnage and Wraith, which I would consider an actual side quest. There's the stuff with Mysterio, which is more just the challenge mode than an actual side quest, to be honest. And then everything else is like some random shit with NPCs. Because like there's like the woke side quest with Miles, where you have to like a black culture museum, where the bad guy is an evil white rich person that orchestrated everything to make sure that the black museum goes out of business. You have the fucking
So basically,
hold
on. So basically, a microcosm of his solo game.
pretty much, yes. Because like the big twist of the side quest is like the investor guy that wants to invest the money in the Black Museum is actually the bad guy that hired the people that were robbing the museum. That's the big twist. And then there's the fucking side quest with Miles' school, where you see the graffiti and it says BIPOC on it. And Miles is like, oh, BIPOC. And he says it in his dialogue.
Ken, that evil rich white guy, is there a reason why he did it? Or he's just a
He's
racist?
just stupid. He's just evil. Evil white man.
In Miles's game.
Oh, I just
No, in the side quest.
On the side quest, and
It's the what's it called? It's the quest with the fucking where you need to follow the trucks that stole the music equipment. That quest.
So fun.
Yes, because black people and their music.
Exploration,
But like the flame quest is the only actual
fighting
quest. Like, I keep coming back to
supervillains,
it's the only thing
video
that you could
game
actually
stuff.
consider a
Spider-Man.
side quest because it has a story. It's relevant for presumably either next game or DLC. It's the only actual side content in the game that I would consider worthwhile. But yeah, everything else is just woke nonsense.
Read Transmetropolitan. You will be surprised. The game foretold Obama, but as a white character. The comic, I mean. Comic.
Played by Ryan Gosling?
No. No, but he's called the Smiler, and he looks exactly like Obama when smiling.
All right.
It is the primary reason why people Spider-Man game, and they got exactly that. Did I mention the game sold pretty fast and breaking records? Did I mention players?
That's because of the first game. That has nothing to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's because people buy it blindly because they think the first game was good. It's Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. I buy the game. I bought Bayonetta 3 blindly because I thought, hey, and then I got shit.
Well, it's also the fact that the first game was the good one, and that's it.
The
first one is the only good one.
He's leaving out the fact that a majority of people played the first game. They didn't buy Miles Morales because they don't care about Miles Morales. And then they are like, oh, Spider-Man 2. I'm going to buy the Spider-Man game because I want to play Spider-Man. And when they think I want to play Spider-Man, they think about Peter Parker.
Oh, and he gets a black suit this time, and it seems like they've changed up the combat a little bit. Oh, you can glide through the air now. And
it has the black suit. People like the black suit. It's like, oh, I can't play the black suit, Peter Parker. And then you play the game, and you're like, why is Peter losing all his fights? Why does he constantly get saved by Miles? Why is there like 15 million MJ missions? What's going on?
It's not just like you have to get web slinging and fighting rights. It's the story as well.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I did this 3 times in 1 year because I trusted these companies up to that point. Bayonetta 3, completely woke garbage. Like, in every way. It did all the crimes. Xenoblade 3, at least defiled, at least in the dub. And Tears of the Kingdom. Not defiled by SJW shit, but that was just shit. I can't do it, and I have to spoiler myself now for new games in the Nintendo field because there's just shit coming out now. The things I could trust blindly in the past, I can't anymore. It's gone. But people will buy this game for the same reason that I bought those.
And it's going to reflect in the sales of the third game, for sure.
Yeah, it's similar to Hollywood a couple decades ago, where people watch the first movie of something and it's amazing. Whoa! They think, okay, we make a second movie, and then the second movie maybe is also great because there were a lot of good, really good sequels like Terminator 2 and Aliens,
Spider-Man 2.
and then they made a third movie and it was complete shit because the producers messed it all up. Because they had to pander to this or that and clean it up and make it PG-13 or something.
We have the Raimi trilogy for that exact analogy.
And then that one that thing bombs completely. And if they're smart, they don't make a fourth movie. And sometimes they were dumb enough to make a fourth movie, and that bombed even more. And
I think a good example is going to be the Barbie movie. If there's going to be a sequel, I think that one is going to do bad. Because now people know that the trailers lied to them and that it's actually like some stupid woke movie and not a comedy.
Well, the first one was already a woke movie. It was so incompetently made that it showed that it's...
Yeah, the trailers hit
that. It shoots
though.
itself
like,
in the knee.
The trailers on purpose left out all of the political messaging. So it just looks like, friendly family movie with the haha funnies.
Yeah, but
then
at least now we know. At least now we know that we are enough. Exactly. Which is, by the way, is a thing that you are enough is a thing that you realize in healing from narcissistic abuse. And Ken was a victim of narcissistic abuse. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Unintentionally good in some aspects. Everything that the movie wanted to accomplish is basically broken. But that aside, we even see this whole decline in profits reflected in Star Wars with the sequel trilogy. They still made enough money to stay in the black numbers, to not go into the red, but every movie is subsequently extremely worse than the first one. People blindly watched Force Awakens because, Star Wars is back and it's without the Lucas bullshit. Let's watch it. And they got blinded by the nostalgia. And it took a long time for people to notice, actually that movie's pretty not great. The second one then had less people watching it already, much less, was complete garbage, was full of the propaganda shit. And the third movie, comparatively, was barely watched. It's a steep decline. And then with the shows that Disney made afterwards, it's just this the continuing trend downward because of the bad writing, and the bad writing is a result of the propaganda. It's a result of the ideology. That's why everything is shit now, Appabend. Because we let them get away with it. It's just a few weirdos on the side. Oh, no. Yeah, those few weirdos on the side, they're in control.
I was going to ask, does anybody know when the Wolverine game's coming out? I'd be interested in seeing those sales now that we know what we know.
No, just go play Origins. Just go play that one.
I was going to say, it's like the game comes out and you play as X-23 for some fucking reason.
The thing is, like, I'm
calling it now.
that's the first thing people always go to. But I think there's like a main thing people are overlooking, and that is that Wolverine is an X-Men game. So the actual issue is going to be the racism analogy.
Oh.
Like, do you really trust a modern writer to like handle the fucking analogies with the X-Men? They're gonna turn it. It's gonna be some stupid like cringe racism shit, where everyone is gonna be like, "Oh, it's so racist to the mutants, the bigots."
Mutants aren't a race as much as Magneto wants to push it that way. Come on.
No,
yeah, but that's the thing I'm saying is like, do you really think they have the nuance to write it like that?
Not anymore.
Yes.
Exactly. So like, I think the main issue is not gonna be the fucking X-23. It's gonna be it's gonna be full of like racist and stuff. It's gonna be some cringe.
And Wolverine's gonna be a bad person no matter what he does
because he's white.
White, talk to me. Yeah. He
Yeah.
can't be masculine anymore. Especially like Peter. So
Even though that's Logan's entire character at this point.
Can't even smoke cigars anymore. Smoking's bad. Great.
Anyway,
let's keep going.
Players loving the game? Are there haters of the game? Sure. Are there people who find the game disappointing? Yes. But in reality, a good majority of people love this game. That's
Minority.
the reality. A reality that you are not living in, apparently.
You're arguing.
I don't need to like it because you like it.
What is going on?
These two guys can get whacked, by the way.
Why is he bringing up fucking Cenk for a point of this?
Why does Hassan have his name on a sign that looks like he stole it from a German train station?
These two can fuck off. Seriously. These two guys can go fuck off.
These two are a great example of communism.
What I'm saying here, that's not reality. That's not the reality that I live in. You're not living in reality. You're totally detached from reality.
About 26% of the pop.
I don't know if it's a good idea to cite these communist millionaires on that. Fucking hell, dude.
Especially Hassan, the fucking asshole.
Saying they like the game, it comes down to normies. I'm sorry. It's just, I like to web sling and beat people up. That's as far as they're
you come to the game to fight some villains, and then you realize half of the villains.
I just realized the Metacritic score or whatever that he showed that was on release day. So that's literally like when the game came out.
Please tell me it went down.
I can
Does
check.
somebody have a web browser?
Yeah.
Well, web browser's not the issue. It's like who wants to check Metacritic?
Let me check.
Screenshot that shit.
I'm praying that it went down.
It is still at 90.
God damn it!
It's gotta be broken.
9.1.
It's gotta be broken. Yeah.
Either that or it's just a bunch of
6,000 user reviews.
Look, you have to consider that a lot of people who buy Spider-Man in the US are black people who also love the BLM bullshit. So they wouldn't object with this. I don't know how many other people buy this game. I think the demographic breakdown of the customer and player base would be interesting in that. And then there's always the question of who goes out of his way to write a review, to click on these websites.
Very much, yeah.
Wait, this is weird. So I just checked like the reviews.
We also know that,
on,
that these websites cheat. I'm sorry, Ken.
I checked like the recency, right? Of like user reviews, and like one of the positive reviews is Spider-Man 2 is dumb as a bag of bricks, but that's the norm for blockbusters.
So very positive review.
He thinks the game sucks, but he gives it 80.
I'm gonna assume they gave it. I assume they gave it an 80 to sneak that backhand in there.
Again, it just goes to normies. Like mentality, it's just I got cool Spider-Man suits to show off, especially when they put the black Raimi suit. Everybody went fucking nuts for that shit.
Yeah. The whole thing about the propaganda is that by putting it everywhere, they're trying to normalize it so that people get so used to it they don't complain about it anymore. Which is the same thing you're advocating for right now, Appa.
And that's how they gain ground, step by step, until nobody objects to their total rule anymore, and to teach children in schools how to masturbate, which is what they've already
Jim
tried.
Sterling's review. Jim Sterling left the user review.
I could have used that advice in school.
So this is Jim's review. He says Spider-Man 2 continues the high level of slickly presented entertainment seen with Insomniac's first jaunt to Manhattan. Playing as the Spider-Man is yet to be anything other than beautiful, both figuratively and literally. Great as it may be, it's held back by some dodgy writing, interesting, that fumbles its payoffs and dips too often into waffle. Between those moments of deflation, however, there's a truly gorgeous and absorbing game, packed with delightful action, where simply moving feels good. He gives it an 80.
Dodgy is an understatement.
And I've seen those videos.
But this is what I mean, though. Like, he says dodgy writing and gives it an 80.
And the other guy gives it basically only a negative words and also an 80.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be like a 60 or 50 at best? Or
yeah. Or 70 more like.
Yeah, but based on my
if you don't object to the propaganda stuff, that sounds like a 70 to 75.
But Whisp, they put the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit in the game, so it made me feel good.
Oh, who cares?
Oh wow, a texture.
That movie is the worst one of all the Spider-Man movies anyway.
Everybody
Did you know that? Go ahead.
Everyone loves that suit though. Like they just will not shut up about it. And
the suit is
true.
good. The movie it comes from is garbage. The movie it comes from is garbage though.
The thing is, they had to patch the suit like 2-3 times because it looked ass.
Yeah,
like it only looks good now.
Even the Raimi suit.
And there's another point. People like me who are so repulsed by this propaganda crap that rips everything apart, I won't even buy this game, thus I won't write a review anyway. How many other people are so inoculated against this shit at this point that you look at it from afar, check, are there red flags about it? Okay, I won't buy it. I won't bother. And then you also won't write a review. It's the same with movies. I couldn't write negative reviews on Rotten Tomatoes about most of these crap things because I don't even watch them. Why would I waste my time on that? I just feel miserable.
You'd be doing something good.
I want to get paid for that, man. That's I want to be paid damages.
Some of these like outlet reviews are giving it like a full 100. How do you give this game a full fucking score when it was
by ideological
on
possession or by offer bribes?
I was going to say bribes. Yeah.
No game, no game in existence is worth 100. None.
Yeah, there's no shot. This is a 10 out of 10. Like how?
People say it's game of the year. It's like
no. Ken, hear me out. Or your Jay's reviews, because that guy. What a very bright.
The best the game can do is come close to 100, but there's not a single, like was said, there's not a single one that there's 100. There's there's a plethora of games that are close. We've talked about those before.
Why it has a 90, because there's like people giving it a 100. They're giving it full score.
I'm gonna buy a copy of the game.
Outlets giving it 100.
I'm gonna buy a copy of the game.
Well, they're insane anyway, so whatever.
No, what a pleasant thought process.
You know, there's enough people who inflate these scores with bots.
And
the same goes for Rotten Tomatoes, even internally cheats.
And review bombing is only bad if it's negative. If it's positive, they leave it up.
Oh no! Review bombing is only bad when it's negative for the woke stuff. It's also bad when it's positive for the anti-woke stuff. It's always how is it in relation to woke stuff?
Anyway, we are 9 minutes yet, guys. Come on, let's get going.
Liberal or woke? Okay, where the hell did you get these statistics from?
You have a single fact to back that up.
That is a good question.
Are you telling me that Insomniac is leaving 74% of their players out to dry? Oh my god, you are so terminally political and terminally online that you see video games as a political statement. You are no different to the woke people that you are...
No, the woke
they
people
are right now.
making video games political statements. That's why you have all the propaganda in Spider-Man 2. That's why God of War Ragnarok is just woke garbage. That's why. These are political statements. That's why Ahsoka is shit. That's why TLJ is shit. Do you have more examples? Oh, here, what was the show with Scarlet Witch?
That's why WandaVision was shit.
WandaVision. Yep.
Loki. All of that is that. It's political statements. The political statements are the propaganda. And you complain about someone being upset with that.
Minor details that most people can perfectly overlook. You don't see video games as video games. That's the biggest issue that I have with you. So here's a reality check for you. 100% of people buy Spider-Man 2 because they want to be Spider-Man.
That may be.
I want to be the Spider-Man on the right, though. I don't want to be the one on the left.
So you want to be the real Spider-Man?
I want that one.
I also doubt that it's 100% because there are people, these woke idiots, buy stuff because it's woke. They don't care about whether what the content actually is. It's also that they often don't buy the woke stuff at all because they don't have money. That's another thing. Unless they work for these woke companies that pay them ungodly sums, like Twitter did, until a certain someone threw them all out. And then suddenly the company functioned. But that's details.
But they are it made
no politics in too. Even kids can work.
I was just saying, like, he's going for that argument of like, well, it made money, so that means it's good.
We've talked about that
World
before,
of Warcraft made a lot of money. It wasn't.
Yeah. Also, again, it's like it's literally like the Barbie thing. It's like it's a brand. It's a Sony brand. The Spider-Verse movies came out not that long ago. It has a huge boost in popularity from the first game. Obviously, it's gonna make money.
We literally talked about this when in the several times we've talked about Resident Evil, specifically in relation to 4, where the sales aren't the biggest factor. The biggest factor is the game itself, because as of now, and their numbers are out there. As of now, all versions of the original Resident Evil 4 combined doubled Resident Evil 2 sales. But that's not because it's not just the sales that make it better. It's the actual game that is better than 2. This sequel is not better than its original counterpart, hands down.
Like, if you want to make like the sales argument, you have to wait for the next game, because again, if the next game also makes a lot of money, then maybe you have a point. But if it makes less, then that is our point.
Yeah, and even that depends, because I can give you I could, but I won't here. I could give you an off-the-cuff argumentation for why StarCraft 2 is absolute crap, yet the other two StarCraft 2 games still sold well. But StarCraft 2 is a completely uncreative hack game that with committing crimes against RTS design. And it's still sold like hell because of its brand. It can work for a long time. And if you put in some other factors to keep it alive. But overall, StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty especially, was not designed well, and the later games also suffered from false advertising on what they promised to deliver with them.
Okay.
But that's a short version. It's not a StarCraft 2 stream. If we ever do one, I'm gonna give you the full fucking picture.
One of what? Sorry.
StarCraft.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Even late too. Insomniac sells game, and it sold really well. They did it.
Yeah, so they sell propaganda to children because they like Spider-Man. Cool.
It's even a Game of the Year contender for some people. So who's being left out to dry? I can tell you whom. It's you, and only you, and many terminally politically people online. It's people like you that got left out. It's people like you who are like, oh no, there's something progressive on screen and I don't like it. Please have the option to censor.
Oh, left. You mean left out? You mean if we're not on progressive train now, we're the bad people? So we have to be progressive now? We have to be socialists? Appa, what the hell happened?
Yeah, this is
the Middle Eastern version.
Yeah, really weird take from him.
Yeah, I would like to buy the Middle Eastern version. Or rather, if I want to buy the game, I would want to buy the Middle Eastern version. Because I'm not allowed to mod the game. At least not with the mod site Nexus mods. I would have to go to some obscure place or mod it myself. Appa, do you know what's really going on here? Do you understand what the culture war really is? All the things that are shit that you otherwise complain about. This is the result of it. And now you are arguing in defense of the propaganda. You're arguing in defense of this shit because it's coming from the big company? Why? Because you don't like this one comment of a guy trying to cope? Trying to bargain because he's in the bargaining stage while you jump back into the denial stage of this whole thing? Trying to make us accept that the thing is there. So what or are you in the acceptance stage that you have switched sides or what? What is this? What is this? What's going on? After all this time, I thought you'd understood what's going on.
Maybe we need to watch the Starfield video as well. Maybe he has changed.
Oh. Well, maybe later, not anytime soon.
Not today. Not today.
Yeah, not today. Not today.
On something, especially possible. And now you are conflating the political alignment issue with the console exclusivity issue. You do not care one bit about the game being console exclusive to the PS5. You only care that it has politics that you don't agree with. There's more to this stupid post, and I'll talk about them in detail in my ABB Show 146 channel, link down below. Go subscribe. Look, I agree that some of the progressive stuff in the game are pretty dumb, but for most people who played the game, they are not a major turnoff. This is not an issue that'll...
And that's the problem. That means we are already at the point where this stuff is blindly accepted. And that is why a couple months ago, I think it was around May, there was a global signal. We have it, and we have that in German newspapers, in big German newspapers, where they actively say, with the headline, should we push the pause button on the culture war? That was in big leftist newspapers. I have the issues here. I can scan them in and show them to you. And ever since summer this year, all around the Western world, maybe you have noticed that the woke propaganda and all this insane stuff went down. They're not going to the super extremes anymore everywhere. Something has changed because this is globally organized. You can check that out by checking out organizations like the Progressive Alliance, which is an outcropping of the Socialist International. The Democratic Party of the United States is part of it. Because it's a socialist party. It just doesn't call it social. But how democracy works in socialist countries, you can see in East Germany or current-day China. So, there you go. Have fun.
This issue that a lot of people suffer from. This is an issue that you suffer from. Even if it's true that only a quarter of people around the world are liberals, that means the rest of them are neutral or conservatives. Most people are most likely neutral on this. And even if they are not, they're...
No, he's arguing against without his own knowing, he's arguing against a political takeover by a tyrannical ideology that, by the way, once it has full power, will throw away all these rainbow people as well, because they're not useful to building the utopia. Socialism, once it's there, it doesn't actually like people who don't work.
bother, they're gonna demand an
He isn't like he's kind of forgetting the main point that the Redditor made, because like he's saying, oh, you're not addressing like the neutral people, but the neutral people would also be able to use this supposed slider to just slide what they want to have in the game.
And laugh
like
at
the
it.
neutral person will also have they are gonna have a preference too. Like, I don't know, maybe the neutral person wants the trans flags in the game, maybe don't. Like, he's arguing as if the neutral people aren't included in a choice, even though they would be. Like, this is a weird point he's making.
That's actually something that the woke people do.
Yeah. And we need to get rid of the woke people. And we can't do it just by arguing with them, just by talking with them. Because, like, the woke strategy functions exactly like a narcissistic abuse situation. A narcissist doesn't fucking care what argument you bring to the table. They don't care about rationality. They know they're lying. You can't convince a liar of the truth. Because he already knows the truth. But he will keep on lying, and he will keep on ignoring all your points and keep doing what he does because he wants to do it. That's why we can argue with these people all day long. They will keep doing their shit. They will push forward, ever so slowly or ever as fast as they can. So we have to do something else. That means when we have an argument, it doesn't matter to talk with them privately. You need an audience that can then see that you're making the better argument. Because you're never going to convince the wokeist, you're never going to convince the communist of being wrong and full of shit, but you can convince the audience that's listening. And in order to get rid of this propaganda, yes, you need to censor it. Or you need to at least not support it by not buying it. You can do what the socialists always do, which is have a letter campaign. That's what they did for the past decades. Cory Doctorow writes about it in his comic. What was it called? I have it on my shelf behind me somewhere. It was called Real Life or something, which is about gold farmers from China in World of Warcraft, or in World of Warcraft equivalent in the comic. And at the end, he writes that it's hard work to come to political change. And the thing is that the left is very apt at doing that while nobody else is. And that can incorporate starting letter campaigns, writing emails or best actual letters to these companies telling them, what you do is shit. I don't want to buy your stuff anymore because of this. You're just making it worse. You're destroying your own franchise this way. And I've been a fan since childhood. I want my children to play your games, but your future games I probably can't support anymore this way. So I will just give them the old stuff. And then maybe something happens. The left knows how to do this. The left knows how to organize. Nobody else does. Because the moment somebody non-socialist organizes, they say, you are a Nazi organization. That's the trick. They try to shame you. They try to make you feel guilty. They try to make you feel disgusted by what you do that is not socialist. It's the whole trick.
All right. We're almost done here.
Aggressive. Do not care about the political stuff in Spider-Man 2. They only care about the game as a game. A Spider-Man game. That's what matters the most. If you think that most people will be with you on this, you are arguing against reality, and I'm playing Chang schooling Hassan again because it's just so satisfying.
You're arguing against reality, and that's exactly what I'm saying here. That's not reality. That's not the reality that I live in. You're not living in reality.
No, that's you.
This is just funny because it's ironic because these two people don't live in reality. And at least Cheng knows that he's just talking bullshit on the Young Turks. Hassan, I'm not sure.
Hassan is a lost cause at this point.
Look at his shirt. It's some capitalism what is that? Capitalism revolutionary?
Revolutionary, yeah.
Does Cheng know that he's spouting bullshit? Because
no, he does not.
Hassan doesn't. Hassan doesn't have as many. She has brain cells with orange cats.
Because like when he was like on Timcast, he said like he wants to do like a lawsuit so that he can like run for president, which he can't because he's an immigrant. But he wants to like challenge because he wants to like challenge the fucking thing where immigrants can't be president. He wants to challenge that in court.
Yeah, but
So,
he's yeah, but no, that is him still living in reality, because he is a foreign agent who wants to take over power. But he knows that he's spouting bullshit on the Young Turks. He's following the narrative. The moment he took he took Qatari money for the Young Turks went completely bonkers bullshit. Before that, it was stupid juvenile pseudo news entertainment, and after that, it was just woke propaganda. And don't ever believe that there's any woke propaganda inside Qatar. Qatar is funding the stuff towards the Western world because Qatar knows it weakens the Western world. That's why. The whole Al Jazeera Plus thing is nothing but SJW socialist propaganda. But that is aimed at the West. Al Jazeera Plus is not aimed at inside Qatar.
Okay.
Totally reality.
And that's all for the video today. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and huge thanks to all of these wonderful people.
Alrighty, that's fine.
Look, that's my name.
Really?
What?
Wait, where? Go back.
Bottom right. Doesn't matter.
All right. Anyway,
he's a good guy.
We asked for memes about a particular topic. I can't remember what the topic was, but it was something we requested right at the start of the video. So
there are memes, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if we check them out.
Yes.
As soon as I can pull it up. There it is. Okay.
Sorry, I've air in my stomach.
Okay, here we go. Gigabin, you got some memes for us. The Chad Terry begin. What are we doing?
This is great. These are great. They explain everything.
The text.
Yeah, I know. I just remember watching the was it Screw Attacks? No, was it
the Death Battle? Yeah, that's true. Screw Attack doesn't exist anymore. Now it's just Death Battle.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was thinking of Death Battle.
Because like I just read like the side on Terry. Does Miles even have like his own rogues gallery? I genuinely don't know. Does he have his own villains in the comics?
Prowler doesn't count.
Like, does he just use Spider-Man's villains? Does he just steal all the villains?
Both memes. So I haven't read them. Both memes claim that he only has Peter Parker's villain.
Because I thought so. Because like I literally don't know any.
Versus Spider Chad 2099. Oh boy, that's a big.
My boy Miguel.
Miguel is awesome.
Hell yeah.
Quite a lot to say about those two. Well, there's a lot of differences, obviously. So if you guys know, it's night and day. There's different storylines.
He's actually an interesting character.
And he's completely detached from Peter. He's his own person.
Spider Girl, another character who's more worthy of wielding the mantle and presents a better reason for Peter retiring than the second game.
Oh, Mayday.
Is that his daughter?
Yeah, Peter. Yes.
The new Spider-Man game has gay people in it. It takes place in New York. Gonna have facts. Okay. What in the okay. It looks like Insomniac accidentally used Cuban. Yeah, well, that's the.
Yeah, they used the wrong flag.
Right.
That was the funny thing.
I mean, even I know that flag because we have a Kurdish restaurant down the street that is fans of Che Guevara and does everything is Cuba stuff.
Hey, Parker, I want to know how to instantly shut down any woke person in debate. Yeah, how do I do that? I can't read the
asking them the 5 toughest questions on Earth.
Who
told them? Why they think it's true? Where did their source learn this? Where did their source learn this? When did they reach this conclusion? And what is a woman?
The 5 W's
Yes,
gets them every
JJ.
time.
Macabre storytelling. I just became aware of the absolute travesty that is Batman Beyond. I can't believe they tried to replace our beloved hero with this stupid MFer. I'm literally shaking in my Crocs right now. Bruce Wayne is Batman. Terry McGinnis is Terry McGinnis. Yeah, that's fine. And yes, this is mocking the whole Peter Parker Miles Morales discourse. In case that wasn't
Okay, so
Yeah, but that falls
that's the
flat
joke.
because
Yeah.
but that falls flat because that's what we had basically well summarized in that meme before. Because
All right.
Terry works.
Spider-Man reward
Yeah.
for his capture. No, this is awful. They just keep forgetting the hyphen.
Yeah, that's been a running gag for decades.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was even a joke in the first game. He also said, "Don't forget the hyphen."
At the very start of the game, in the fight, like right at the at the opening boss fight with the Kingpin.
So
Like
he's-
it's Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man with a hyphen in the middle.
That's a microaggression against spider people.
Oh,
it's culturally insensitive.
Oh,
Anyway,
shut up.
the gay community was a hero.
Was a hero.
What?
I
just couldn't
just
see
couldn't
it.
see it.
They were a what? A menace? A criminal?
Oh, because
The moment it hits July
Pride Month. It's Pride Month. He's like, oh,
They
change. He's
were
like, oh, the gay
unmatched.
people, they are a hero. And then fucking Pride Month ends, and he's like, oh, the gay people are a menace.
I cannot stand sentences "they are a" anymore. It's just so grammatically
That
broken.
was hard to follow, yeah. Defeats the Sinister Six all at once while asleep, stops the Riker's breakout, gives Aunt May money, beats up Tombstone with his only skills. Defeats the Sinister Six in groups of 2 or 1 at a time. Nope. Fails to stop the Riker's breakout. Aunt
The
May,
Rikers and Raft breakouts both at once.
Oh. Aunt May gives him money and uses counter drug on Tombstone. Oh. Huh.
I wouldn't necessarily say that the first game did that worse than Spectacular, but Spectacular definitely did it better.
I'm not sure whoever made this understands what the ticks and crosses mean.
Also,
it makes
that
the
the
messages
first-
confusing.
Yeah,
The
the ticks and
first point
crosses.
in-
That aside, it's that Spectacular Spider-Man did all those things better.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we're-
also the first point in Spectacular's favor is technically inaccurate because he wasn't doing it in his sleep. That was the symbiote. This
Yeah.
is probably not a win.
Yeah. If he actually means while sleep deprived, then yeah, that was it. But that the wording is just way off.
Just
he
in
was sleep
case if-
deprived. That's what actually happened.
Just in case that the maker of this meme is listening, if you write Aunt May gives him money and then put the cross there, that means Aunt May didn't give him money.
Yeah,
that's why this is confusing.
All right, so
I know
this-
what the intention is, but this is confusing.
So here's the
Yeah, just take out the ticks. Just take out the ticks and crosses, and
Yeah.
that gets the message across better.
I'll give you a P minus.
Here's the Puerto Rican flag costume I think Appabend was referring to. And
that's
here
an actual
is
costume in the game.
Who is that? That is Bucky Barnes?
Yeah, Bucky Barnes, Captain America.
I'd say it's pretty different.
I think, yeah, but look at that is very clearly looks like the like the Puerto Rican flag, and that was not the intention at all.
Fair enough.
With Bucky, it was a complete fucking accident that people turned into a meme.
25 seconds of a video. Am I gonna play this, guys? You want to? Okay, let's play it. It's 25 seconds. Not bad.
Yeah, play it.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No, 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 no. Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
All right.
Oh dear.
It's like that costume is so stupid. That is the worst Spider-Man costume ever created.
The proper word is Latinx. Okay, call me Latinx, and you'll find out why our crime stats are so high.
That's basically my take.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh no! It's the Spider-Verse thing.
That was an actual frame.
What do we got here? Why aren't Anti-Venom's powers draining his Because mine aren't melanin based. If you have to know.
Well, because 2099's suit is actually black with red highlights instead of blue with red highlights, and the anti-venom is there because anti-venom drains Peter's powers because they're radiation based. Miguel's are based on genetics.
Yep.
Based on genetic manipulation, which is why anti-venom's power. Yeah, the genetic manipulation that gave Miguel his powers makes him immune to anti-venom's main power.
Yep.
This is great. I love this. Virtual reality Marvel game. Spider-Man would be awesome. Is there an actual Spider-Man virtual reality game?
I don't think so, but would you really want the vertigo?
That would be wild.
I was about to say you're gonna get vertigo. That would be wild.
That would be so. Like just the first 2 seconds of it.
At least Iron Man is more. At least Iron Man is more plausible.
Well, yeah, it'd be easier to code. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's Daredevil.
That's great.
Nothing.
Maybe if they had like sonar, that'd be kind of cool. But what we got here?
No, don't ruin that movie.
Wow, that's not a good photo.
What's your
I am
name,
legally forbidden from reading this.
What's your name, kid? The Human Holocaust. Jesus Christ, kid. Couldn't you at least name yourself after a real historical event?
Oh. I'm not allowed to laugh at this. I'm gonna go to jail.
Meanwhile,
you too?
Yeah, me too.
Meanwhile, based guy here.
For reading this meme, your channel might get new.
Meanwhile, just go and play the OG Spider-Verse, which, yeah, this game was the genesis of what would eventually become the Spider-Verse.
Oh,
this was the first instance. It was really good.
Here's the meme or the image we wanted of the writer. So we have the Polish development studio with an annual revenue of 17 million, designing better female face models than Sony, a corporation worth over 100 billion. So
yeah, it's the RoboCop movie versus the RoboCop game versus Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah, that just came out last month, didn't it?
Yeah, the RoboCop.
Yeah, a lot of people, and people are saying like legitimately that it's actually really good.
Yeah, it really surprised me. It's really good and not woke at all.
I honestly thought it was going to be just a generic third-person shooter, just with a RoboCop skin. But no, it's faithful to the movie.
I thought they were gonna do some bullshit because it's like a cop-centric game. But no,
because it would have been very easy to do that with RoboCop. But no, surprisingly, really good.
It's super faithful. It's very good. The gameplay is really fun.
Okay, on the lower one. So left is the actress they allegedly used for Mary Jane.
The actress, but then two memes after is the actual one I was asking for, which we'll get to.
Yeah. So okay, that's what I wanted to ask for because then you need the picture of that one as well.
That's a little lower.
Oh my god,
this was the actress from the first game. So
from the first one, yeah.
Yeah, that is obviously modeled after. I'm sorry, you are not going to win any contest.
Hell no. And then God's follow-up to the OG Spider-Verse with Best Boy, Spider-Man Noir, who, by the way, debuted 2 years before that game, so he was put into that game entirely for the sake of promoting his comic. And was still a fan favorite in the game somehow.
All right.
Now here's the one I was asking for. Thank you, Ken.
Oh, that's her. Okay, that's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
I mean, that's literally the same person. Come on.
Yeah, so they can model people after the act after. They are capable of it.
They're just lying about who it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, this is in the game? Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have insurrectionist, communist, racists propagated in the game, and I should be okay with that. Appabend, would it be okay to ask for National Socialist propaganda in a game to be censored? Would you object against that as well in a AAA game marketed to children? Because that's the equivalent to that.
All right. The first game looks, by the way, that's good. I don't mind that. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, the original Peter Parker face.
Yeah, he looks so much better. Like that's just the perfect Peter face.
Which I can guarantee that they're gonna mod that face model into Spider-Man 2 whenever it comes out on PC. I'm calling it right now. Why? That's not woke or anything. That's just different person's face.
Yeah, but they're gonna come up with some reason to ban it because we're not allowed to like the old face. They're gonna
the new face isn't woke. It just doesn't look as good. It's literally just Tom Holland without being. It's Tom Holland without being Tom Holland.
So I don't know what the big deal is here, but I guess Miles Morales is not a good option for main character.
No, if anything, he's the worst option.
Well, because it means that Peter is gone.
You basically set up the whole trilogy thing where, oh hey, we're gonna have Norman slowly transforms throughout the whole games, and then we're gonna have a final showdown with them with the wrong character who has no history remotely with him. Goody. Yeah, don't you want that when you're a Spider-Man fan? Is hey, I sure want to see Peter Parker and Green Goblin fight, but you know what? No, let's have Miles take his place there. I'm sure this is great writing indeed.
Yeah, Miles, who has literally no connection to Norman whatsoever.
So here's the Nexus mods tells users,
or Octavius for that matter, because there was also like a major play with Octavius in the first game too.
Yep.
All right.
And Octavius is still alive, and he's just in prison. God knows when he's going to break out.
That's the thing where they banned it.
Here is the Nexus mods tells users unhappy with their ban of Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered LGBT Pride Flag mod to delete your account and move on. Jeez. So much for being able to modify the game as you like.
Yeah, that's how these communists work. That's all it is. It's all it ever is. So don't be okay when they start to push it from somewhere, and it's not lightweight in Spider-Man 2 Upper. I'm sorry. You're just too used to it being everywhere at this point. Imagine this game on this level coming out in 2010. You'd think, what the fuck is this?
All right. The new soy jack I made inspired by the Starfield and Spider-Man controversies?
The enlightened soon truth.
That's
Centrist
thinks they're a free thinker, but is actually just a conformist with extra steps. SJWs are crazy, but anyone else who calls them out is just a grifter. Knows the establishment is fucked, but still submits to it. Claims woke and anti-woke people are two sides of the same coin, regardless of the context of an argument, and would have agreed with Antifa. Would have agreed with Anita if she wasn't so smug about it. Oh, geez,
pretty much. That's was it Matthews?
The
No, Kaiser.
meme is also true.
That is damn on point, Kaiser.
Yeah, that's a pretty good meme.
Insomniac's business model.
Then the next one from Kaiser, which is pretty much Spider-Man 2 in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's kind of silly.
Oh yeah,
the Trojan horse.
John Jonah Jameson.
Jojo.
J. Jonah Jameson. He's John.
He's the next JoJo in part 2.
That's his stand. He stands himself.
The comics. J. Jonah is the stand, and Raimi Jonah is the stand user.
What is the name of his stand? Is it Spider-Man?
I don't know.
So
Daily Bugle.
Here we have
maybe I might be able to come up with something for that if I was more of a JoJo fan, which I'm not.
Yeah, Ken, I don't know what are we doing Nintendo today? Is this what we're talking about now? So Kimishima, what are your plans to save Nintendo? And he's like, well, obviously we need attractive girls. And
that was because the games.
In Furukawa, we're gonna change this.
Furukawa needs to be thrown out, best out of the country.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has a non-binary character, and you need to get over it.
In the translation, and Xenoblade 3 is also disturbingly flat-chested. Like all over.
In comparison to the
it looks
second
like someone's poorly disguised fetish.
Well, that's just in comparison to the second one, right? So
no, objectively.
Oh, okay.
Not compared to the second one. The second one was all over the place. It had everyone's flavor covered.
All right, here is enough time has passed. Spider-Man 2 is greater than
Now this is just objectively wrong.
movie.
No, you have that backwards, you fucking idiot.
Redditor fixed the Adidas advertisement suit.
I swear, the Spider-Man 2 Raimi movie is the best non-comic Spider-Man story ever made. I will fight you on that.
I agree.
It's an actual legitimate deconstruction of the superhero concept that actually works.
Then we have, this little tidbit of, hey, I thought we all agreed Superman flying through green rings was a bad game choice, and then now it's good for Spider-Man now, I guess. I remember Jay going, you could, it's like flying around like Superman. It's like, no, I'm getting that.
And the last one, which is what we said earlier about Miles. It's like, who the fuck are you people?
Wait, who's the guy on the right next to us?
I think that's Martin Lee, Mr. Negative.
Yeah, that guy on the right is Carnage.
That's Carnage.
Whoa, really?
Cletus.
They set him up.
Because they introduced Carnage as well, even though that doesn't work in the same story as Venom.
He'll be DLC. He'll most likely be DLC.
Also, at this point, you might as well also add Mr. Negative to this. He also has, despite Peter also has stake in that.
I was thinking it was.
I mean, he's not a villain anymore.
I thought it would have been like, I don't know, Thunderbolt or something. Like
the game redeemed Mr. Negative and took away.
It redeemed half of the fucking villains, Ken.
Yeah.
It's like, oh hey, cool, we're gonna fight Mysterio. Just kidding.
Well, in the first game, the two major villains, Mr. Negative and Octavius, both of them got redeemed, mostly. I mean, Martin Lee definitely got redeemed, but Octavius still probably would have had one more game in him. If not for Miles replacing Peter.
Anyway, guys, that
so
was
funny if Miles. Go ahead, Smut.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that was I thought it was gonna be a rather mild video to cover, but halfway through,
Mild Morales.
A Miles video.
Mild
morals.
Mild morals.
Mild video from Appabend, but he sort of took his own spin and was like, "Whoa, that's a strange take on criticizing someone." So yeah, no, he could have criticized that guy in a different way, and it would have been fine. But he sort of kept going in the one direction.
Yeah, to be hung up on that one was a mistake.
Yeah,
The poor guy. Like what? He was being so cordial.
Yeah, weird stuff. Anyway, I'm not too interested in playing the new game, so. From what the memes enough were bad. I was like, wow, that's a lot of weird content I don't want to ever see in a game. But these days that's what happens. So
you still have your Steam library of ever unplayed.
Well, I got a bunch of stuff in Steam, but I just keep playing New Vegas over and over again. So it's just
you could just play like Web of Shadows because it's basically this game but better in every way.
Well, Web of Shadows is abandonware, so just hunt it down and play it. It's abandonware, yeah. On PC it is.
Oh, yeah?
Play Ultimate Spider-Man. Play
any other video game that has had Venom before Insomniac took the license.
What about
hell? Even the Spider-Man 3 game, even that's better than this.
That's way better, actually.
by
it has
comparison, yes.
Soundtrack. Like I recently just listened to the soundtrack again, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, why is the fucking Insomniac soundtrack so bad?
Hell, even the fucking PS1 game from 23 years ago has a better version of Venom than this, and they play Venom for Knives in that one. That's saying a lot.
Anyway, guys, that was longer than I thought. So thank you for the suggestion. I know we wanted to do it yesterday, but we didn't have a few people on. So thank you for waiting and making time and all that good jazz. Get us all organized, finally covering the video. But that was good. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the recommendation, and keep the suggestions coming in the suggestions channel. Keep voting, and we will see you soon. I hope maybe tomorrow.
Peter Parker's the real Spider-Man.
Okay. Miles Morales is a good character, though. I like his development.
Mild morals.
Mild morals.
Oh boy. Anyway, thank you so much. Have yourself a great evening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Good night.